serves.
It's an ace! It's gold! Gold! You better believe it! Gold for Andy Murray! Great Britain surging for the line. Well done, boys! You have delivered yet again!
Farah wins gold for Britain!
Best rebel gets that Olympic medal!
London 2012 on 5 Live and 5 Live Olympics Extra. Have a listen through our best bits online at bbc.co.uk/5live. Just click the best bits box at the top of the page.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
London 2012 with Mark Pugach.
And 7 days on, can Mo Farah summon the strength to win his second Olympic gold?
Farah wins gold for Britain in the men's 10,000 metres. The first British athlete ever to win Olympic gold at this distance. Once again, cannot believe the magnitude of what he's achieved here.
After the double-double comes the double-treble. Bolt and the Jamaicans hot favourites for the men's sprint relay.
Bolt eases his way over the line to win in 19.32 seconds. History is made here in the Olympic Stadium.
Legend, legend, legend. It's cemented. It's a double-double.
Tom Daley has one last chance to fulfil his 2012 Olympic dream.
You have to be able to keep your cool under pressure. You have to be able to go out there, because everyone knows that everyone can do the dives well, and everyone can go out there and win on any day. So it's about whoever can keep their head and whoever can dive the best on the night. I seem to have dived a lot better this morning, and I feel like I'm back and I'm ready to go.
And the pride of Hull fights for Olympic boxing gold.
Into the final couple of seconds, the bell will ring, and Luke Campbell is through to the Olympic bantamweight final. And what a showdown we've got. Campbell versus Nevin for a gold medal. Well, a very good evening. Welcome to the final night. I know the final night of track and field inside this Olympic Stadium. A little bit breezier this evening after another sunny day in East London. And here's how this final evening lines up. Lots of really good stuff for you. Starting at 7:30 with the men's 5,000 metres. Mo Farah looking for his second gold medal of the Games. Caster Semenya amongst those lining up for the women's 800 metres final. That's at 8 o'clock. Christian Ohurugu and Perry Shakes-Drayton, part of the Great Britain team for the women's 4x4 relay. Now that's at 8:25. And another chance to see the legend that is Usain Bolt. You heard Darren Campbell in our introduction saying legend, legend, legend. No one disputes that now. The men's sprint relay at 9 o'clock. Also the final of the men's javelin and the women's high jump. And I'm delighted to say we have a great friend of Mo's with us here, and sometime training partner Chris Thompson, European 10,000 metre silver medalist, and he's going to be with us here this evening and watching Mo in action. And you're very welcome. Great to have you with us. Mo the person. How will Mo the person, Chris, have dealt with the last week since the night of all nights?
I think he would have found time to embrace and enjoy what he achieved, because it was an incredible night. And believe it or not, I was there. I was actually in the race. Not many people realise that, but I was in the race.
You had a view?
Yeah, I had the best seat in the house. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, hopefully he would have embraced it, but then hopefully I know that he would have gone away and done his recovery strategies and got everything in place, because he knows that he's never satisfied until he wants more. He's always wanting more. It was like last year in Daegu, ironically coming second, fueled him to the gold medal in the 5. And I think, and I spoke to him briefly today, and I said to him tonight, ? Gold, and he said, if my legs will let me, because he knows this is a huge challenge, but he will want this, and he'll want this to finish off his Olympics, his London Olympics.
So explain, I think it's fairly obvious, but explain in detail, scientifically if you like, what he means, what you mean by if my legs will let me. Just how much is taken out? What happens to the body after a 10,000 metres? And of course he's run a 5,000 metres in the heat since.
That's a loaded question. That's like a degree answer, that is. Crikey.
We've got plenty of time. It's radio. There are no adverts to go to, Chris.
Oh, no. Have we not got an advert or something? No, basically, when you run a 10,000 metres on the track, the impact, and especially with this track being harder than normal tracks, and you're seeing some very fast times for a distance runner. And you saw, I saw Jo Pavey after her 10,000, after every race for the 10 to the 5,000, she was dealing with a lot of muscle soreness. And for Mo, there is physiologically, it's impossible for him to be at 100% today. That's not being negative at all. That's just a physiological demand that it is on the body to run a 25 laps of a track, and obviously the 5,000. And for him, he will have done everything he can over the year and over the years, plural, to have lessened the damage that kind of will have effectively had. He will be, like we were talking before, 95, 90% range of what he is normally. If this was a one-off race, he is the favourite. With the 10,000 metres in his legs, and the other guys having, like Gebre Meskel and Lagat, the biggest challengers, having only won 5,000 metres, this changes the emphasis of the race completely, and it makes it a massive, massive challenge. And I think he can do it, but it has to be remembered. This is a huge challenge. Like Dibaba didn't manage it.
Couldn't manage it, no.
For the women's.
Actually, Dibaba, struggled in the last sort of 200 metres, really, didn't she? And they just couldn't respond to Defar winning. I think when I read your article in the Telegraph, you said that there are little sort of micro tears in various fibres. It's just a sort of physiological building up of the strains and the stress that 15,000 metres, I keep stressing the fact he's run a 5,000 metres since, takes out of you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you looked under a microscope, you'd probably be saying this person shouldn't run for a couple of weeks. To be honest, it's very, very damaging, and you're trying to obviously minimise the effect. I mean, unfortunately, I don't quite have the lingo to actually explain
I think the lingo would confuse people. Chris, you've explained it very well. I think,
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. I think Mike Costello, we understand, don't we? What Chris is saying is it would be a phenomenal achievement to win another gold medal.
It would be on this track, as Chris was saying. And look, he came back last year with the disappointment of the 10,000 metres where he won the silver medal and did it at the World Championships, but you get the sense that the athletes around him have raised their game here, and the 6 men that you might identify as his main threats are all coming into this 5,000 metres relatively fresh, with only the one 5,000 metres, the semi-final, behind them. And if you look back over 100 years of 5,000 metre running at the Olympic Games, it was first run in 1912. Only 6 men have done what Mo Farah is trying to do tonight, and that gives you an idea of how difficult it is to do on whatever track, in whatever weather conditions, whatever the circumstances. It's very difficult to do, and one man who never did it is a man who in many people's minds is the greatest distance runner of all time, Haile Gebrselassie. In fact, most of the time he couldn't even bring himself to attempt it, and that's how difficult it's going to be tonight for Mo Farah. If he does it tonight, we ought not to make any mistake about this, be in no doubt that it is the greatest performance by any British competitor anywhere across the Olympic park.
Well, there we are. I hope through Mike's experience and Chris's expertise and knowledge of running on the track that you understand just what an enormous challenge it is for Mo Farah this evening, and therefore what an achievement it would be were he to win gold medal. We hope we've set it up for you. 7:30 then, as we go to Greenwich Park, where John Hunt has been his second home for the last fortnight. John, you're going to wake up next week and wonder where you are, and it'll be your own home. But the modern pentathlon, what's happening now?
Or Wolverhampton Racecourse, Mark, more likely, yeah. The modern pentathlon is reaching a thrilling conclusion. We have, for the first time in Olympic Games, a combined run-shoot to finish off. The shoot and the run used to be held separately as recently as Beijing. Heather Fell, of course, was silver medalist in Beijing. We're watching Heather, the athletes, warm up here for this combined run-shoot. Explain to us a little bit about what's going to happen over the course of the next 15 minutes or so.
Well, it's a lot more predictable than a straight run that we used to have, like you mentioned, in Beijing, because this time it's still over a total of 3 kilometres, but it's involved with 3 shooting sections. So the athletes will start on their on their penalties according to how well they're doing. So the leader will set off first, and the points are converted to seconds. Every 4 points behind the leader will be a second behind that. So basically, the person in second place the Chinese guy is only 1 second behind Zhibei Svoboda, that's 4 points. And then they've got to hit, they come into the target, they've got 5 targets that they have to hit and clear, and the world record actually I think is down to 8 seconds now, so they have a total of 70 seconds in which to clear it. However, if they take that long, they are well and truly out of the race, so we're going to be looking at times of around 10 seconds to be competitive. Then they head off on their kilometre loop out around Greenwich Park, up around where the cross-country eventing course was last week, and then back into the arena, and they're going to do that 3 times, finishing on a final kilometre loop, and the first person over the finish line in the centre of the arena here will be crowned gold medalist for the modern pentathlon.
Indeed. In pole position then, David Svoboda for the Czech Republic. He'll be the first to jump, followed a second away by Chao of China. 8 more seconds back to Lesun, the world champion from Russia. He will then be joined by Robert Kaza from Hungary. Adam Morosi from Hungary as well is right in behind them, just 2 seconds later. Then the dual Olympic champion Wasev from Russia. He's 16 seconds behind the leader. And then it's our 2 guys, Nick Woodbridge and Sam Wheel, 25 seconds and 39 seconds off the start. If they're going to get medals, they'll need someone ahead of them in the run-shoot, Heather, to mess up badly with their shoots.
They are going to, definitely, because the running standard of those athletes starting in the front is very strong, and that is over 3k. That's not quite enough time purely on the running for those guys to be able to catch up by any means. So we are going to be looking and hoping that maybe the pressure of being in Olympic Games and the sight of an Olympic medal, that some of these athletes might buckle under the pressure and end up missing quite a few of their shots, and in the hope that our guys can keep their cool and maybe catch up some of those vital seconds.
It's going to be tight, it's going to be exciting, and we'll know the modern pentathlon gold winner, Mark, around 7 o'clock.
Back with you for that. Thank you, John. Let's go to the Super League action this evening. Dave Woods watching Warrington-Wigan.
Well, it's finished, and Warrington have won impressively so as well by 30 points to 10, 5 tries to 2. They set the scene when Ben Westwood and Ben Harrison scored in the opening 7 minutes, 12-0. They completely knocked Wigan off their game. A lot of mistakes by the Wigan side, who still lead the table, but only now by a point, and Warrington have set the mark high with a Challenge Cup final to come in a fortnight, and then the playoffs in September. Warrington 30, Wigan 10.
So another big night in the stadium here, the last night of track and field, and what are those on their way in? What are they anticipating and expecting? Steve Parry's with some of them now.
Well, that's right, Mark. I'm down at Park Live. It's strangely quiet. It's like the calm before the storm. We're watching Australia play Russia on the big screen, but I've only got to ask these 3 faces painted with Union Jacks around me, do you think Mo Farah is going to win a little bit later? What do we reckon? So they are G'd up and ready to go. Now, have you spent the whole day with these Union Jack faces draped in that flag as well, have you?
Oh yeah, I've been running around London with it as a cloak. I've been very excited.
And you were explaining to me that you're a student, and you thought, what better to do with the student break than to come down and watch the Olympic Games, is that right?
Exactly, I've been watching them on TV as well because I've had so much time, and yeah, on the TV 24/7 pretty much.
And it looks like you're having a nice drink there. Lovely atmosphere down here. If I look to my right, I've got Alison here with me. Now, Alison, that is a horrendous-looking mascot you got there. It's a mix between a toad and a rat dressed in a Man United kit, draped in a GB flag. I mean, is this what's going to make Mo Farah do the double? He did the 10,000 this time last week. Is this toad going to make him win the 5,000 this week?
Of course it is.
That's as simple as that. What is it? What do you think that people like about Mo so much?
I don't know, I just think it's the whole thing. I think it's just brought everybody together, and for an underdog to come through, I think it's just amazing what he's achieved.
Well, there you go, Mark. We're going to practice our Mo-bots down here, mate, and hopefully things will go well for Mo a little bit later.
Well, we hope so too, Steve. We'll be back with you. We're going to carry on looking ahead to the night's action. And last night we saw the USA women's sprint relay running a world record time. What could this Jamaican team do in the men's sprint relay, of course, with Usain Bolt? Good evening, Darren Campbell.
Hello, mate.
How are you?
I'm all right.
What about the men's sprint relay team and Usain Bolt? Are you expecting fireworks like we saw with the USA?
I was having a conversation today with Maurice Green, and I just feel, after listening to what he was saying, that the Americans could upset them. He seems to feel that it's not going to be as simple as Jamaica doing it, but he is American, so he's going to say that. But he did put some, he made some good points. He feels that the Americans potentially will have the lead before Usain Bolt gets it. I believe they're going to put Ryan Bailey on last leg. He feels that Ryan Bailey's top speed can potentially rival Usain Bolt's top speed. I'm not sure about that, but if the Americans are able to open up a big enough gap, then maybe Usain Bolt won't be able to catch him.
Asafa Powell is injured, so he's obviously not in the final. Does that weaken the Jamaicans in any way, or do they have such a galaxy of sprinters that actually doesn't make any difference?
I was just going to make the point that Powell was missing at the World Championships last year in Daegu, and the quartet without him, and it will be the same quartet tonight, broke the world record, 37.04 seconds.
I think that's answered my question, hasn't it?
That's why we've got Mikey Mike.
Yeah, we have, yes. So, that just shows how many sprinters they have then. And we'll be watching the changeovers, because, no, in all seriousness, Darren, without making any reference to last night, if it is going to be that close, then, of course, the changeovers could be absolutely key.
Yeah, and from what myself and Mike's witnessed in Monaco, the Americans are taking this extremely seriously. We saw what the women's team did yesterday to the Jamaican team, and you know, when Maurice said what he said, I kind of did have to have a little think about it, because I think I did say to Chappers this morning that I thought the Jamaicans, but now I'm sitting on the fence.
Right, okay. Well, it's a fantastic way to finish it off. That's the men's sprint relay and the women's 4x400 metres final as well. Kath Merry is part of our team, of course. Kath, is it an outside chance for Great Britain of a medal? Is it a bit more than that? How would you rate it?
Definite medal contention. They came in with a possible bronze medal, could be theirs. They qualified third fastest for tonight's final. They're on the outside lane of lane 9, which isn't a big deal, to be honest, Mark, because the first leg is running lanes. So yeah, a potential bronze medal is up for grabs. The big teams, of course, are Jamaica, who are bringing in their big guns, and in particular the United States of America. Just the team, to let you know, is Dee Dee Trotter, Alison Felix, McCory's on third, and Sanya Richards-Ross, the individual 400-metre champion, is anchoring them. That could be quick. That's potentially where the gold medal's going. But of course, the British team now, we're bringing in Perry Shakes-Drayton, our 400-metre hurdler, in on the third leg in place of Ailey Child. So Shayna Cox, Lee McConnell, Perry Shakes-Drayton and Christina Huragu have a good shout at a medal.
And Steve Backley's with us this evening. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Mark. Just a quick point as we listen to the Bahamian national anthem. A quick question, both Darren or Mike might be able to answer this one, about the Jamaican lack of presence in the 400 metres. That's the 4x4 relay. And Jamaica, 1, 2, 3 in the 200 metres. Athletes can double up. Athletes who can run an unbelievable time of 400 who are quick over 2. Why is it that Jamaica don't seem to... have they ever had anyone that's of any significance?
Well, I'll talk about this, champs. The second leg runner pulled his hamstring, so they couldn't get the baton round, and maybe Mike can go into the history.
I'm thinking individually.
At the first Olympics at which Jamaica competed as an independent nation, it was London 1948, and the man they regard as the pioneer of Jamaican athletics won gold in the 400 metres. Arthur Wint is his name, and Usain Bolt still talks about him now as being the great pioneer of 400 metre running. The first ever World Championships were held in Helsinki, and the 400 metres there was won by a man called Burt Cameron, who at the moment is a highly influential coach across Jamaica right now. And Jermaine Gonzalez, who was the athlete who pulled up injured on the second leg of the Jamaican quartet in the semi-finals of the 4x4, way back when I went to Jamaica to make this documentary about Usain Bolt in 2004, they were known as a pair. They went around with T-shirts, Gonz and Bolt, and most people thought that Gonzalez was going to be not quite as good as Bolt, but he was going to be a superstar as well. He had a really good season last year leading up to the World Championship final when he finished just behind Kirani James and LaShawn Merritt, but he hasn't really fulfilled the potential that many said he had 7 or 8 years ago.
Right, well, we'll keep a close eye on that one. I tell you what I want to do in the run-up now till 7 o'clock, and we're going to involve everybody in this. We touched on it last night. It's the medal target. It's the medal target because a maximum of 2 on offer for Great Britain this evening, but they won't be able to reach the target set by the head of UK Athletics, Charles van Commenay. The Dutchman said before the Games he wanted 8 medals, including 1 gold. At the moment, Britain has 3 golds, a silver and a bronze. So the maximum, therefore, obviously they can get is 7. So, Mike, let me start with you. Then I'm going to go around everybody else. Were they to get 2 medals tonight, they have 7, but obviously they don't have 1 gold. They have more than that. They have 3. They could have 4. They could have 5, of course. So what is your reading of it? Because Van Commenay said, if I don't reach 8, yes, I'm responsible, and therefore I should step aside.
Yeah, and then you have to work out the equation. Does 7 with 3 gold medals, possibly 4 gold medals if Mo Farah wins tonight, equate to 8 with 1 gold medal? And that's a decision, look, that only Charles Van Commenee himself can make. He can calculate that sum and decide whether or not 7 with 4 gold medals is failure. Frankly, to me, that seems ridiculous, given that at the last Olympic Games, Britain won only 4 medals and 1 gold medal. And also, I think Alison was talking last night about the target set by UK Sport, which is more expansive. It's between 5 and 8, and that will determine how the sport is funded across the next 4 years. And I think what we must take into account as well, looking back at last weekend's Super Saturday, if Farah was to win gold tonight, the euphoria that will have built up around athletics, and that feel-good factor, I think, can't be dismissed as part of the whole success of the Games. And 7 medals, I think, with 4 of them being gold, even if only 3 of them are gold, I think amounts to a success when you look down at the medals table and how few other nations have got anywhere near that.
So, Alison, as far as it seems, whatever Charles Van Commenee said, the funding seems to be set, does it, for the next cycle, because the target of 5 has been met?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the funding through UK Sport into each governing body has already... they're now in the process. 2012 didn't finish now. It sort of overlaps into 2013. What has changed, and what is obvious, is the actual funding streams that UK Athletics put out to the athletes. It's going to be very, very different, and we're going to see in particular a lot of athletes have done well out of relay funding. And what I mean by that is they might not be classed as A-band athletes individually, but because we have a good chance of getting a medal or getting on the podium, they receive A-band funding. That is now ditched by all accounts.
So it might be that the same amount of money is given to the sport, but the sport decides to divvy it up a little bit differently.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, UK Sport give the sports the
a set amount.
Yeah, it's up to them how they decide to fund and how many athletes they decide to fund. I mean, back in mine and Darren's and Catherine's day, when lottery funding came in 1997, I think there was something like 163 athletes straight onto the programme, which is silly, because actually what you're thinking about is you're funding medalists, that you're funding potential medalists.
The best of the best, not spreading it too thin.
The problem comes in when you talk about cash that athletes get, and very often your Mo Farahs of this world, your Jessica Ennis's, now Greg Rutherford's, outside the sport have very, very lucrative sponsorship deals. That then means that they're means tested out of getting money from the lottery. So actually what it ends up being is you just get support from the lottery. So your likes of Mo Farah, even though he's over in Oregon, based over there with Salazar, UK Athletics make sure that he doesn't want for anything in terms of physio, nutrition, psychologist, whatever, but actually living day to day, Mo Farah pays for his own way.
And on a broader note, Catherine, Charles Van Commenee is the head coach, but we had Tony Minichiello up here the other day, who's Jess Ennis's coach. So Mo Farah is out in Oregon with Chris Thompson here. So my question is, how much actually does Charles Van Commenee have to do with Jess Ennis, with Mo Farah, realistically?
I think it's a case of an overviewing role with the big names in track and field. I know Tony Minichiello well, and I know he has regular conversations with Charles Van Commenee. I think it's a case of Charles being a head honcho and having that helicopter view over the big names in sport, and not just the big names. This is his job. He has to keep an eye on all the individual coaches. He asks them to be accountable for their training and their programme in terms of competition. So, of course, he plays an important role, but on a day-to-day basis, Alberto Salazar, Mo Farah, Tony Minichiello, Jess Ennis, Aston Moore, Philip Zadowu. But back to your original point of Charles and the medal target, I think he can quite easily justify 3 gold medals if the total does end at 5 against 8 and 1. But it was a big statement he made, wasn't it, Mark? So maybe you have to ask yourself, was he thinking of moving on and leaving the job anyway, because that was such a big call to make? But I think all the points that Mike and everybody's made is that, listen, he wanted 1, he's got 3. He's got the leeway, therefore, to basically say and potentially do whatever he likes.
Darren, is he regarded as doing a good job, Charles Van Commenee?
I think ultimately that's the question. We can talk about targets and different stuff like that, but I don't think he should have set an easy target. He could have easily said 5 medals, and that would have been fantastic, wouldn't it? I felt 8 was a big target. 8 means that you're looking for more than just the guaranteed medals. And I think when you look at what's happened with Phillips, what's happened with Di Green, well, they would have been 2 medals expected to have. So it's for me, I'm not looking at the target as to whether he's been successful. For me, it's more, have the athletes moved on and come on. I would say yes, they have moved on and they have come on. I think
since Daegu last year, when we had a big debate about this, didn't we?
I would say it's on par, but we also, I always said in Daegu, if you don't make finals in Daegu, then the chances are you ain't going to win a medal here. So, yeah, the athletes have made finals, they've pleased the crowd, the newspapers have kept quiet, so it can't all be that bad. I don't think he's handled certain situations well. I think I've made that clear with regards to Phillips, but in that, I don't think Phillips necessarily handled that situation well. But Charles is the boss, and at certain times it can't be a dictatorship, and sometimes you have to somebody has to back down, and the boss should back down. Why? Because you shouldn't be fighting in public. That should never have got into the public domain the way it did. And then him being on TV saying what he said, it gets
doesn't
messy.
Do anybody any good when it's
it didn't help anybody.
Chris, I just want to ask from your point of view, he is the overall boss. How much, though, you would have to do with him? How much any athlete who works so closely with a coach would have to do with Charles Van Commenee?
I mean, he's obviously making sure everything's in place behind the scenes, that these athletes get everything they need. I mean, for me personally, if I had a question, or the system was there for me to either go through him, and it was a very blunt, frank kind of, can I access this? Can I do this? Yes, no. He takes each individual case.
And what would that be? Access to physiotherapy, to funding? What sort of questions would you be asking?
So, for instance, for me personally, I wanted to get out to altitude slightly earlier than the actual Olympic camp had set, and I asked the question, and he said that's not within what we, the date set. And I said fine, and I got injured in the end, but I was going to fully prepared to do what I still needed to do. But he tried to treat everyone fairly in his system that he's got in place. He's a very blunt and frank man. Like he said, I asked him about the medal tally actually, and he said to me, his words to me was, if I was to stay on and not achieve the 8 medals, what example am I setting? I set athletes high standards. I have to stick to that myself. I don't know what that's going to mean after all this is done, but that's, he sets a high bar, and he sets it for himself as well.
Because the interesting thing is, then we're going to go to the news, and we did a little bit of sort of investigation today, because Mike mentioned last night that 50 different nationalities have won medals here. And we looked at rowing and cycling, which
I didn't say that. What I was saying was, across championships for the last 10 to 15 years, between 40 and 50 nations have won medals. I didn't say had one here.
Oh, sorry, across the years.
I hadn't gone down the table, but across the years.
I'm misquoting you, Mike.
But only slightly. But, I was making the point, the great expanse of medals and of talent around the world in the many disciplines. There are 33 events here, 47 gold medals to be won overall.
Well, the point is, I was comparing it with rowing and cycling, where here at the Olympics, 10 different nationalities in rowing, including Great Britain, and 10 in cycling have won medals. So it just shows that there are, of course, when it comes to track and field, Chris, it is that much harder to win at track and field.
I think it is. It's certainly like you've got such a massive variety across the board. You're trying to cater, you're under one umbrella, you're trying to cater for a lot of different skill sets, field events, sprint events, endurance events, and all need very, very different requirements, and that's a huge challenge. But something that's been, I think, has been particularly impressive is we've had new medals with Robbie Gradouts and Greg Rutherford. We've had new medals, and people are backing up. I mean, obviously we've had Goldie Sayers, who I saw today, frustratingly, unfortunately, without a doubt, had a huge medal shout. So there's people backing up these people, and obviously with Di Green unfortunately missing out and Phillips unfortunately missing out, they will continue to win medals on a global level. We are backing athletes up with more medalists, and there's a general across the board within the team a belief that, and they're seeing people medal, and they want a piece of it. And there's a very much a desire and a passion and a camaraderie that is growing all the time amongst the team owners, and I think I speak very confidently and very highly of that fact.
Yeah, Mark, that's what I was going to say. Before I retired, I don't believe a lot of the athletes coming underneath had that belief that they could challenge the rest of the world. And what I've watched develop over the last 5 years is that belief that actually we can challenge the best, whether it's distance running, okay, not sprinting, okay, distance, in the field, jumping. You know, there's a belief from these guys that we can challenge the best in the world, and before I never honestly believed that some of the athletes felt that. It almost seemed like they were happy just to make it and be in the top 3 in Britain and receive lottery funding, and that was fantastic. But now they're challenging themselves and seeing how far they can go, and I don't know, but I would put it down to Charles's mentality, because if your leader has a mentality of wanting to win, then everybody underneath will develop that same mentality.
Yep. And Chris, you want to say the fact that you don't want Charles Van Commen to say win 5 medals and that's an easy 5 medals to get. You want to be pushed, don't you?
Completely. We want to be pushed, and we're happy to be pushed because we know that the nation expects as well as we do, and you can see the disappointment and athletes coming off the track and apologising because they know other people want it and the athletes want it, and I think that's breeding in there. You know, I'm sure Charles has had a bit of an impact on that, and the athletes have, the coaches have, everyone's had their piece to play in this.
Thank you very much, Adi. We'll come back to this, and there's an awful lot more to talk about, including at 7:30 Mo Farah in this 5,000 metre final. Right, let's go to the news with Faye Rusco.
On digital radio, digital TV, mobile and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Metropolitan police officers investigating the disappearance of Tia Sharp say human error may have delayed the discovery of a body at the home of the 12-year-old's grandmother, Christine Sharp. She and her partner, Stuart Hazel, have been arrested on suspicion of murder. Their next-door neighbour, Paul Meehan, is suspected of assisting an offender. The Ministry of Defence has released the name of a British soldier who was shot dead in Afghanistan on Thursday. 26-year-old Lieutenant Andrew Chesterman was with 3rd Battalion, the Rifles. His family said they'd lost a fine young man. An Afghan policeman has shot dead at least 10 of his colleagues in the southwest of the country. Officials said the attacker had links with Taliban militants. He died when police returned fire. Reports from Iran say at least 87 people have been killed and 400 injured by 2 strong earthquakes in the northwest of the country. Rescue teams are heading for the affected region near the city of Tabriz. And a UK ticket holder has come forward to claim last night's Euro Millions jackpot worth nearly £149 million. It's Britain's second biggest lottery win.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
London 2012 with Mark Pougatch.
So at 7:30, Mo Farah going in the 5,000 metres. Let's get up to date with the modern pentathlon in Greenwich Park as it comes to an end. And John Hunt.
Yes, they're through the first 1,000 metres here, Mark, coming into the arena for the second time. The first thing to tell you is that Nick Woodbridge and Sam Wheel, who started in 7th and 9th for Great Britain, both had moderate first shoots. I'm afraid they both missed plenty of shots, and they've lost a little bit of ground now on the leaders, and that leader is Chow for China. China have never ever won a medal in modern pentathlon at the Olympics. He's clear by about 5 or 6 seconds over David Svoboda of the Czech Republic, and then there's a little bit of a gap back to the Hungarian Marosi, who's in 3rd position, Lessons in 4th, and then Moiseev, the defending champion. Kaza of Hungary is next, and Nick Woodbridge has just entered, still in 7th place, but he's got a good way to go. Meanwhile, the leaders, Heather Fell, are on their second shoot.
Look at that, the Chinese athlete is out, and Svoboda is just out now. That means they've completed 2 of their shoots, only 1 shoot to go, so there's not much room for the other athletes left to catch up unless these 2 athletes have an absolute nightmare on their last shoot. So they're heading out of the arena now for their 2nd kilometre run. Adam Marosi has just left the arena, closely followed by Lasson, so it's going to be a race on for these medals at the moment. Still all to play for. These top 4, and now 2 more athletes, another Hungarian and Russian, are away, so it's basically, I would say, between these 6 athletes as to who is going to end up on the podium. And is that Nick Woodbridge having a few problems again in his shooting?
I'm afraid so, yeah.
He's not shooting well today, and I don't know if that's the pressure of the crowd. Sam alongside him, I'm seeing a few red lights flashing This is not looking good for the British
Korean
boys
athlete's
at
gone
all.
past them, a German as well.
And
now
Nick is away. You can hear the crowd going crazy, but unfortunately it is too late for our boys to finish anywhere near the medals. They were hoping for a top 10. At the moment, that's not looking too likely, but we do still have one shoot left. Sam is away as well. The crowd are going crazy, and hopefully they're going to carry them around on the run. Whether that's what's distracting them slightly on the shooting, I'm not sure.
you just have to be so on your mettle in the shooting, make a fluff of it, and I'm afraid your chance is gone. But we've got fascinating scrap developing here for the lead. The leaders, Chow of China, Svoboda of the Czech Republic, are heading now across the hills, the up and down undulations of Greenwich Park. Chow leading. His lead is about 10 metres over Svoboda. Woodbridge dropped back to 10th place there with his second indifferent shoot, and he is now a long way behind, about 49 seconds behind the leader, and the medal chance seems to have gone, Heather Fell.
Oh, completely. I mean, it was a very sort of long shot at a medal to start with, and after his first shoot, he was pretty much out of it, and that second shoot has confirmed that, unfortunately. I mean, he's still going to be running hard, hoping for a top 10 finish, because that would be still a very strong result for Britain, but it is all about these medals, and it looks like it's a battle between gold and silver between the Czech Republic athlete, David Svoboda, and our Chinese athlete, who's currently in the lead. And then it's going to be a real fight, I think, for third, and we're going to see that when they enter back in the arena shortly, and it's all going to come down to that last shoot for the final bronze medal position, I think.
Chow and Svoboda, there's absolutely nothing to choose between them. Svoboda is breathing down Chow's neck. They enter the arena for a second time. They're about to do their final shoot, and the cheers are cheers from the Czechs in the crowd as David Svoboda takes a narrow lead entering the arena from Chow, the Chinese, in second place. There's quite a big gap then back to the third placed athlete, that is Adam Morosi of Hungary. But if the two ahead of him slip up at the shoot, their final shoot, then the Hungarian may pounce, and he in turn is clear of the world champion lesson from Russia. Svoboda or Chow then, they're separated by 1 metre, and Heather Fell, it's probably all going to come down to who shoots the final 5 shots best.
It really does, and this is amazing, the pressure that they're going to be under. They're going to be trying to forget about the fact that this shoot is going to make the difference of whether they win a gold or a silver or even potentially a bronze, with Morosi coming in. So, and now the crowd are going mad for the Brits. Even though we are out of contention, we're still in the top 10. Nicholas Woodbridge has just entered the arena, and Sam Wheel not that far behind him either. So there's still positions to play for, but we're currently watching the fight here for gold and silver between the Czech Republic athlete and the Chinese. And the Chinese athlete is away. Can Svoboda get this next shot? And Svoboda is away as well. It is now down to this final kilometre race, and it's going to be between the Chinese and Czech Republic for who wins the gold medal of this modern pentathlon Olympic event today.
Well, in the second batch of 1,000-metre runs, Svoboda made good ground on Chow. It's just a question as to whether he can summon some strength now, having entered the arena in front of Chow. Chow had the slightly quicker shoot. He got his 5 targets down just quicker than Svoboda. Morosi gives chase back in third place, but Svoboda just might be the quicker runner, and he knows heading into his final 800 metres here, Heather Fell, that if he can just keep the Chinese athlete in sight, he could easily pounce in the closing stages.
Oh my God, it's so exciting. I mean, he got so close back in Beijing, and then all to just completely disappear in the ride, and now he is seconds away from a gold medal at the Olympics. He is guaranteed a silver, I think, because I think Adam Morosi has got too much work to do, even though he's comfortable in bronze position and will be working closing them down. But it is most certainly going to be an exciting race between those two. And Svoboda is closing on the Chinese athlete at the moment, using the hills out behind the park, and I think he's already on it, and he is taking him already. I think we're going to see Svoboda being the gold medalist. I'm getting far too excited here. Sorry, John.
David Svoboda has gone past Chow. The gap between them is about 2 metres. Svoboda for the Czech Republic. He was 9th in the World Championships, ahead of Chow. Chow has never won a big competition outside of Asia. It looks at the moment as this one is slipping away from from him. He's been right up with the front runners throughout, but David Svoboda now for the Czech Republic is coming down back towards the arena, and the gap is growing back to Chow, and if Svoboda can keep this going, Heather Fell, he's going to win gold for the Czech Republic.
He is, and it looks like the Chinese athlete, by his body language and the way he's running, has realised that that gold medal has slipped away. He's not coming back to Svoboda now, and we're going to see David Svoboda entering the arena any moment now, and the crowd are no doubt going to carry him around these final few hundred metres to that gold medal that is now in sight, and he is going to be thinking about nothing more. He has opened that gap and he is safe. You can hear the crowd going crazy. Here he comes. He has just entered the arena, and it is pretty much certain now.
Oh my word, it looks like he's just started. He has the spring in his step of an Olympic champion. David Svoboda just wending his way around this tight final circuit. Inside the final 100 metres, he's waving to the crowd. There are Czech fans all over this stadium in Greenwich. The scene of so many great things on four legs this week. But it's a two-legged Czech, David Svoboda, who is going to now cross the line for Olympic gold. It is Chow second for China, and Morosi will be back in third. These are the only three athletes in the arena. Gold, silver and bronze in that order, and so many people will be so pleased for David Svoboda.
That is such a result for him. Amazing.
So we're still waiting on the stragglers. Nick Woodbridge is in about 11th or 12th place. Sam Wheel just behind him. But Mark...
Nick has just entered the arena now. You can hear the crowd going crazy here. But it really did end up being a spread-out race for the medal positions, and it was decided after that final shoot very clearly. And I know Svoboda is one of the nicest athletes on the circuit, and everyone is going to be so happy for him to have won that gold medal.
Nick Woodbridge is being cheered home. I think it's only for 10th place, though. It's going to be 10th, a top 10 finish for Nick Woodbridge.
Oh, that's a brilliant finish for Nick. He's going to be, that's a consolation coming back after his bad shoot to finish in 10th. A very strong final run.
And Sam Wheel's going to be 13th at best, I think. But they were both eclipsed by a brilliant athlete from the Czech Republic. The modern pentathlete gold mark has gone to David Svoboda.
Well, it's a great noise there at Greenwich Park, as there have been at all these venues, of course. The wind just picking up a little bit here in the Olympic Stadium as we count down, 15 minutes away to the men's 5,000 metres final. Mo Farah aiming to join a small band of long-distance legends who've completed the Olympic double.
2 laps to go. Farah's in front.
There was a moment coming into about 600 metres out.
His eyes are constantly moving. His head is constantly turning.
Where he looked up at the screen.
He's looking up at the big screen.
And I thought, you're now trying to figure out at what point do I really make my go for home.
It's a case of now. Who is going to go? Who is going to hit the front?
He didn't get sucked into any of those ridiculous pace changes, and he judged it absolutely perfect.
And Farah is still in front. He looks over his shoulder. He's being carried on this wave of emotion. Farah wins gold for Britain in the men's 10,000 metres.
It's never going to get any better than this. This is the best moment of my life.
He's a great example for the young kids out there.
He skips onto the centre of the podium, takes the medal now and blows kisses to the crowd.
You're a step closer, Mo, to a famous double.
It's really important that I forget about what I've won.
Most athletes don't manage the double. I never did.
And can he join the legends of long-distance running?
And I think that Mo is fearless on this.
Lassie Viren and Emil Zatopek and Paavo Nurmi and the rest by winning that elusive Olympic double.
So how difficult is it going to be for Mo Farah to win gold in the 5,000 metres just a week after the 10,000? Well, Chris Thompson, Mo's friend and training partner, has explained physiologically how tough it's going to be. And Dame Kelly Holmes, double gold medalist, of course, in the 800 and 1500 in Athens, can explain to us perhaps, Kelly, mentally how tough it is. When you won your first gold, I suppose it could go one of two ways. One, I've won a gold medal, fantastic, anything else is a bonus. Or I've got a chance now to cement my place in history and actually put even more pressure on you to do it again.
Yeah, I've been through both situations. In 2000 I won a bronze medal in the 800 metres. It was like a gold for me at that time. I then went into the 1500 metres thinking, oh well, I won again, it doesn't matter. My head just totally went. I probably could have medalled in that games as well. In the Athens, of course, I'd learnt by my experience. The key though was the recovery. My worry tonight is, has Mo recovered in time post his 10,000 metres, his 5,000 metres heat, because it's a hard track, it's a fast track. In his best, when he's at his best, he has, I think, gold medal is there around his neck. I just wonder, has he recovered enough, and whether the rest of the athletes are going to take advantage of his possible tiredness.
So mentally, you don't think there's any problem at all? He will be able to and have refocused quite quickly?
I think, yes. You know, he's an incredible athlete. He's already done the double at other major championships. He knows how to do that. The emotion of winning Olympic Games is totally different to any other championships you've been to. That will have an effect. The adulation, the pressures and expectations that he had for the 10,000, that will have an effect. But he will get his mind back into this race, and he will come out like Mo always comes out, ready to win.
Does it get harder to do the double the further the distance is?
Well, I wasn't a 5,000, 10,000 metre runner, so I wouldn't know, but...
No, but do you suspect it is? Or is it apples and pears?
They train to do what they do, you know, so I'm not sure how you can compare, but they train to do what they do. It's just on other people in the race and how the race is run. That's always the key, because of course something like a 5,000 metres, it's a pretty damn fast race for the likes of you and I. I think that Gebrselassie and Gebremeskel may well work together on this and take his tiredness into consideration. I think there's a couple of key players that I would definitely look at. You never know how Legat's going to go. I'm not sure whether he's on par where he was before. You never know what he's going to do. Galen Rupp, I absolutely thought he ran a blinder in the 10K. Has he recovered enough? That's my question, and I'm not sure he will be up there with these guys. And Ibrahimov, I think, is one to watch out. But slow pace, we were talking earlier, won't we, come back in. But if it's a slow pace, I think he's got a good chance of taking it on. And then, sorry, I'm talking to somebody right next to me that can't speak to you. So.
No, Chriska, well, I mean, we mentioned it earlier, actually, which is you've just implied that, Kelly, Christa, they might keep changing the pace, a bit like a dance. Slow, slow, quick, slow. You know, they might change the pace to disrupt Mo Farah.
Yes.
And work in teams.
Yes, no, exactly. And that's a huge part. You saw it in the 10,000 metres in the women's race. The Ethiopians did that. And as me and Kelly were talking beforehand, yes, I mean, the Ethiopians could very well try and play on what he's had to go through this championships already by changing up the pace. I mean, if someone like Gebremeskel makes a move, Mo has to respond. He can't sit back on certain key players in the race, and they can take advantage of that. If you know what you're about to do and sprint for 200 metres and then ease off, mentally you know what you're preparing yourself for. But Mo, if someone goes and he goes with it, he doesn't know how long that surge will last for, and that can play with your mind, and it will make you a little bit more fatigued than normal. And there's a few guys in there that I think will probably play on that. I think Legat would want it slow, but I think if they don't try and play on the fact Mo's had a lot in his legs, they're silly. They're very silly.
It's an obvious thing for them to do, clearly.
It's an obvious thing. In my heart, I absolutely believe that Mo has the capability of winning this race. It's just that small bit of who's going to work together, who's going to take advantage of what he's already done in these championships. Is that track have taken more out of his legs than any of us actually know? How has he prepared physically to be able to be at his best here? It's going to be a cracking race. That's one thing we are going to get.
And while we've got you here, can I ask you about the 800 metres? What are your thoughts there?
Firstly, I hope it's not as abysmal as the 1,500 metres. I was really disappointed with that race. Very, very, very slow race. It was messy. It could have been so much better. I don't think the result would have been as it was if it had. It just was a long, drawn-out sprint, really, which isn't a nice race. For me, this is really interesting because I think it's going to be... I'm hoping it's going to be a quick race. I was looking at Caster Semenya. In the heats, she looked heavy. In the semi-final, she looked like she was coming strong. And the last 30, 40 metres, for me, she's back to the Caster that everybody has seen her run in the past. And we haven't actually seen that this year. So I would not write her off at all. Pamela Jalimo, again, talented athlete, fierce when it comes to a sprint. I think she's going to put up, Sanova, anyone's guess. I absolutely can't, in this period call it, but I think Jalimo's going to give it a really good go. Semenya, though, might have the edge if she's up there.
Well, it's set up nicely, and I should say it's a good omen because Kelly's nail varnish is gold, and with the odd Union Jack thrown in there as well.
I'm down with the kids, but I couldn't have the whole lot done, could I? So I had to come a little bit closer.
What have we got? 4 gold and 1 Union Jack.
So this is all for Mo. I'm doing this for Mo.
Mine either.
Oh, Chris, it's so subtly done. Yours.
Chris is very jealous now.
If he wins, I'm not putting you in charge of Buckingham Palace and investitures and all that, but if he wins, we're in Sir Mo Farah territory, aren't we?
Mo's been around for a long time now. He's had the credibility of the sport, and that's really what those titles are about. It's the longevity, what he's done over a period of time. Who knows? Who knows? But we'll be knighting everyone at this rate, won't we?
Yeah, well, exactly.
These Olympic Games.
It'll just be you and I left, Chris, I think, at the end of it. Thank you very much, Kelly. We really appreciate that. Thank you. There's lots going on, and I just want to bring in Steve Backley because men's javelin final tonight, of course, Steve. So you'll be watching Andreas Torkildsen going for a 3rd Olympic title.
Yeah, and looked very good in warm-up as well, Mark. The Norwegian Viking. 3 Olympic gold medals potentially. beckons the 3rd one certainly tonight. We've just seen the main contender for this javelin final, Vítězslav Veselý of the Czech Republic, throw about 40 metres, and about half the distance or beyond that certainly will be needed. Veselý, by the way, coached by Jan Železný, the man who has taken 3 gold medals in the javelin. So yeah, great competition. A competitor of note though, Genki Dean of Japan, is half British. So while we haven't got a British vest down there, his dad's from Chesterley Street. So we'll adopt him tonight.
Chesterley Street, home of Bobby Robson, Brian Robson.
His dad went to Japan on a university course, fell in love with the country and fell in love with a lady.
Oh.
Stayed there.
And Genki's here tonight.
Genki Dean. You've got to say it with a Geordie accent, like Genki Dean. Apparently he's been to Newcastle about 8 or 9 times and had fish and chips.
Oh,
bless him. I think that's what he thinks.
So he's from he's a Toon Army then?
I don't know. It could be red and white. He's from Chesterley Street. That's Durham. Usually red and white.
Oh, that started something, hasn't it?
Damn.
That started something, hasn't it?
We'll ask him.
We'll ask him. Women's high jump final getting underway as well.
Yeah, the Battle of the Mums has been dubbed. We've got Anna Chicharova of Russia, the world champion in 2011, and Shantae Lowe of the United States are certainly both favourites, along with Tia Hellebaugh, who is the Olympic champion. All mums of daughters. And huge roars. Mo Farah is being marched out with a fellow 5,000-metre runners from the little tunnel at the 200-metre marker. I think that's what everyone's come to watch tonight. That's apparent, would you say?
What a noise that is. Just to reiterate, Steve Waugh, the great Australian cricket captain, when the Australian team beat everybody out of sight, said that he had never heard a noise like it in a sporting arena last Saturday evening when Mo Farah won the 10,000 metres. Chris, I'm just going to ask you, I've got to get it off my chest. We are in the most modern, sophisticated world that we could now live in, and yet in the Olympic Games you still have your name safety pinned to your running vest. Usain Bolt could run faster than that if it wasn't all this G-force holding him back with his number flapping around.
I know, and the numbers on your hips come off really easily as well.
You said it, not me. Could you not have a vest? And you know, and Kelly said it, you know what your number is, and like a football shirt, have it on the back of your shirt.
I think, yeah, I mean, it's a great idea. I mean, someone's listening probably going, cha-ching.
Would there be kids who say, I want a Usain Bolt Jamaican running vest? You'd want it like you want a Beckham
completely, but you can anyway. I mean, I've been walking around and seen the To The World image all over everybody's vests. But I think the other thing to note with these numbers is they've got transponders in them as well. So you know where you get marathon runners or half marathon runners and you put a chip on your shoe? Well, every runner from... I think everybody, I don't think it's just the distance guys, all have little transponders. So that's why we get immediate results on either side of the stadium on the big screens, which is great for the people in the crowds here.
That really is good for them. So building up on the far side, give us an insight into Mo just before the start. What is he into his own little zone? Does he think about anything in particular? Does he think I've got to get a start in a certain way? Take us in the mind of Mo Farah at this sort of stage?
At this point, obviously, you're preparing yourself for any eventuality early doors. I mean, if people go from the gun, you've got to be ready. I actually noticed in the 10,000, he took off with Galen in case someone went from the gun. And right now, you need to be switched on. You've got to be prepared to run hard from the gun. If he doesn't turn out like that, you can then relax. But he'll be going through he's for the last hour, he's got his game plan, and he will be making sure he's ready to go when that gun goes right now.
And you visualise races, don't you? Like batsmen visualise innings, like footballers visualise certain moves. You visualise races, don't you?
To an extent. I mean, it's more how it's going to pan out. I don't think you quite take yourself... Well, I don't take myself in the track, if that makes sense, and close my eyes and meditate, but you will certainly imagine how the race tactics are going to go and how things are going to play out, and you play it out in your mind how that's going to go. And that's hugely important, because in a 5,000 metres is extremely tactical, especially the final mile, because if you're at the back of the group with a lap to go and the leader runs a 53, you need to run a 52-51, and that's one of the big things. You need to be in the right place, and you need to start playing your moves early before you actually end up making them. So we're talking 3-4 laps out, you're going to be putting yourself in the right position to make the right move at the right time.
I just saw the conditions on the big screen about half an hour ago. It's a little bit blustery. Humidity was 40-odd%. It's about 21-22 degrees. So actually, if you said to anybody go for a run in this, that's really very pleasant, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the big factors of slowing you down in a race is you overheating. It's one of the mechanisms to actually to slow you down and stop you from effectively dying and overheating. So in these kind of conditions, your core temperature will be kept low, and therefore you will be able to bring out your optimum performance. So every single athlete out there have got the perfect conditions to execute the best race for them, and that's obviously going to work better for the athletes that train in these kinds of conditions more often than not.
Well, I have absolutely no doubt at all that people around the country are stopping for this, either listening to us or obviously watching on the television, hopefully with the sound turned down. You were out there for the 10,000 metres, and I described the noise and what Steve Waugh said about the noise. Is this a different noise that you've ever experienced anywhere in the world running?
I've never experienced a noise like it in my entire life in anything I've ever done. I mean, obviously I was unfortunately not in the lead group, but when they lapped me, it was deafening. The noise, the Mexican wave of noise, as it was described before, was by Chappers. That it was exactly that. It was following the lead group, and as they passed me, it was a privilege to hear it. It was I could not. If I'd have spoke to myself out loud, I wouldn't have heard. I'd have been able to hear nothing. My ears were ringing, and it's going to be exactly the same for this, especially when it gets to the crunch time.
Well, it's a similar sort of thing, because Alistair Brownlee was telling me last night with his brother Johnny in the triathlon that there are only certain parts of the course where they could talk to each other. They literally had a sort of 10-second window where, because Johnny Brownlee got that 15-second penalty. I think you know who's been announced to the crowd, and we've got it here again. The noise everywhere. That was Hyde Park. This is the Olympic Stadium, and there's not long to go left at the Olympics. There's only 24 hours, and this is the last night in the track and field, so everybody is going to enjoy every last moment of it. Chris Thompson is with us here then to give us his expert views on how this 5,000 metres is going. Mike Costello, history beckons for Mo Farah.
Yes, it does, and a challenge even greater than the one that he faced a week ago. Can it really be 7 days since Super Saturday? And now the 5,000 metres field has been introduced to the crowd. There are 15 of them, and the 6 men who would be described as the main threats to Mo Farah are coming here fresh. They didn't run in the 10,000 metres. They move forward to the curved start line over on the far side of the track, and the roar that greets the start of the 5,000 metre race sets Farah on his way, and he's right at the back of the field of 15 in the early stages. But as Chris Thompson has been saying in the build-up, he will check the moves of the most significant athletes, the likes of Dejen Gebremeskel, who's towards the front. The lead is being taken on in the early stages as they come past us for the first time in this 12.5 lap journey by the small Moroccan Abdelati Igide, who's moving up in distance from 1,500 metres. He's 3 or 4 metres clear from the main pack now, who are virtually jogging along, given the speeds that they can run at and will be running at later in the race. Isaiah Koech of Kenya is up among the front rank, and so too is Hagos Gebriwet, who ran so well in the fastest race of the season so far over this distance, the 5,000 metres in the Paris Diamond League. Making a move towards the front is Mumin Gala of Djibouti, the country that Mo Farah was taken to first by his father before eventually they moved here to Britain. And now making his way around towards the outside is Haile Ibrahimov, who tried to lead for a long way in the European Championship final a couple of years ago. He was born in Ethiopia, but he's representing Azerbaijan here now, and the field suddenly is stretched out with Mo Farah still right at the back. And just in front of him is Thomas Longasiwa of Kenya, who was in the 5,000 metre final at the World Championships last year before falling in the closing stages, and he might well have been a danger. Farah just makes a bit of a move to join Longasiwa and move up onto the Kenyan shoulder as they come down past us now for the second time with 11 laps to go. Alison Kirbishley.
Yeah, well, when that first very, very pedestrian first lap went through in about 73, 74 seconds, it was almost like the women's first lap of the 1500 last night, and the former Ethiopian, now for Azerbaijan, Ibrahimov, decided to just wind it up a little bit. Not too much. We haven't really seen a change in the main group, and really actually they've all just started to just piece together again, and that surge hasn't made much difference at all. Nobody really wants to go with it. I really do expect to see the Africans, the fresh-legged Ethiopians, the Gebre Maskels, Gebre Wet, want to try and take this from at least 3k out. They're going to have to make it hard for Mo Farah, because if it really is left to the last 800 metres, I think you're going to want Mo Farah will be starting to move to the front with 600 to go, just as he did last year to win the 5,000 metre world title, just as he did here to win the 10,000 metre title. That's what he likes to wind up from. He likes to be at the front. I think he could win it if it's this slow right up to the last 800. I don't think it will be though, Mike.
And they're just starting to bunch up in front once again. Ibrahimov still the leader, but being taken on by the tallest of the Kenyans in the lineup. It's Isaiah Koech, just 18 years of age, won the Kenyan Olympic trials, and now Mo Farah just switches out into lane number 2, and as they head out beyond us with just under now 10 laps to go, so they pass each section of spectators, and those spectators, Mexican wave style, raise their arms and wave their flags each time the crowd go by. And Mo Farah now is gradually making ground from the back of the field right the way through to the front, and Farah leads now from Gebre Meskel, who was third in the World Championships last year. The man who split them was Bernard Lagat of Kenya, who is in the bunch in behind them, like Farah, checking every move. And now the second of the Americans, Lagat's compatriot Lopez Lomong, has moved into the lead. This athlete who was born in Sudan, kidnapped as a child, his family retook him and then managed to go over the border into Kenya, and eventually a pact between the governments of the United States and Kenya allowed the family to move to New York, and now he represents the United States of America. Indeed, carried their flag at the opening ceremony in Beijing 4 years ago. And Lomong leads then as they head down past us with 9 laps to go. Chris Thompson, your views on what's been happening so far?
Well, he's interestingly enough, at the first kilometre he didn't show any kind of panic, and that's the sign of a true champion. He really did just sit at the back, let people do their thing. He didn't fight for any kind of a position, and then he saw the opportunity when they bunch enough just to move around, gradually move through, because people are fighting at the moment for positions which really don't matter, and he's now taken a bit more of a keen hold in case someone goes. And he's running a very, very smart race. I mean, that's what he's going to need to do.
Chris, just then it looked like Mo turned to Kipsero and had a bit of a word. How much speaking and how much talking goes on? Because I know that Galen Rupp and Mo Farah had a conversation, well, a couple of lines in the 10K. Mo just told him to relax because he wanted to cover every move. How much are they going to be talking out there?
For me, I need to concentrate, but for them guys, I mean, it'll be one-liners of snippets of things they've probably talked about before the race, of a more depth conversation, and it will be, like you said, one-liners of just keep relaxed, stick to the game plan, we know what we're doing. It won't be full-on conversation about what we're going to do next. It will be gentle reminders of what we've discussed before this race took off. And I'm sure, like him and Kipsero, I know are good friends, and so whatever they may or may not have talked from, it might even have been, how you doing, keep relaxed, keep chilled out, stick to the game plan.
Rarely in the history of long distance running can there have been such an atmosphere for a race of this nature, as Farah now once again just steps out from towards the inside to lane number 2 to make sure that he doesn't get involved in any kind of traffic jams, and moves through from around 8th or 9th position to very close to the lead which is still being held, as it has been for a couple of laps, by Longong of the United States. In second place now coming through is Koech, still there, the 18-year-old Kenyan, former world youth champion. Then Gebre Meskel, one of the big dangers to Farah on the inside, and Farah is right there on his shoulder. Another of the Ethiopians, indeed the other two are both in behind now. Alamiru towards the inside, and Gebrewitz on the outside, just 18 years of age. And now making another move down the outside from Djibouti is Mumingala, as they come past us now with 7 laps to go. And Mo Farah's training partner Galen Rupp is also one of those to make a forward move in the last 400 metres or so. But Mo Farah now in about 6th position with just under 7 laps to go.
Yeah, and Longong and Mumingala at the front. Mumingala runs for Newman Essex Beagles, has been based in Britain. Mo Farah actually used to live with him, and Chris Thompson will know him very, very well. He's known across many of the British athletes as someone that Mo will be comfortable with and having around. The likes of Gebre Meskel, he's the danger man, as you said, Mike. He's the guy that leads the world this year, but this is not a paced race. This is not what he had in Paris. This is a championship race. Can these guys race? That's what we're asking them now, because this is Mo Farah territory.
Heading around in towards the home straight once again, and they're really beginning to bunch up now, with Farah very close to the lead, but clearly doesn't want to take it on. Longong on the inside, Gala in the centre, and then Farah making up a threesome there on the outside as they come down the home straight with 6 laps to go. And moving right onto the shoulder of Farah now is Alamiru of Ethiopia. Tucked in behind them is Galen Rupp right over on the inside, and at the back of the field at the moment is Gebrewet of Ethiopia, who is the 2nd fastest junior in history and would only be 10 metres off the lead, which is still being held by Longong. And now Alamiru makes his way through to join him for the lead, and also coming right through on the outside is Isaiah Koech once again of Kenya, right there with his compatriot. Are they starting to run now as a duo, with Farah just in behind them? Koech and Longa Siwa of Kenya very close to the leaders, and once again Gebre Meskel starts to make a move, and in front now is Alamiru, and suddenly he's injected some pace into the race, and Gebre Meskel, his fellow Ethiopian, follows him through. So suddenly we've seen an injection of pace, and the race has changed in terms of its circumstance, with about 15 metres now between first and last, and some of them are starting to just begin to struggle. Barrios, the Mexican, towards the back of the field, and the Canadian Levins also towards the back of the field. They go through with 5 laps to go.
Well, this was the rumour, Mike. This was what we thought the Ethiopians would do. They'd make Alamiru the chasing man. They're going to set Gebre Meskel up 2,000 metres out now. They're going to try and make this hard for Mo Farah. They're going to try and make him work. They're going to try and push those lactic levels to sky high to make it really, really burn. Can Mo Farah make sure that he stays comfortable, stays in contention, and stays in touch with them?
And this is interesting now. Mo Farah just turned to his training partner Galen Rupp, who just held off for a moment as if Farah was going to move out and take some room. But Farah now is in behind Galen Rupp. He's in about 9th or 10th place. Round in towards the home straight they come again. And it's the Ethiopians with Gebre Meskel, the bronze medalist, in behind Mo Farah. He couldn't contain Farah during the closing stages of that World Championship final last year, but here they're trying to draw the sting out of the British athlete, who moves up once again, virtually out into lane number 3. 1,600 metres to go. It's Gebre Meskel leading for Ethiopia from Alamiru, and then it's 2 Kenyans who are in 3rd and 4th place, Koech and Longa Siwa, and then Farah now is right in behind the 2 East African superpowers. He's in about 6th place. Ibrahimov is just in front of him, but on past form wouldn't be a threat. Farah now in 5th place. Among those starting to follow him through, Bernard Lagat and Galen Rupp of the United States. But still, it's the Ethiopians leading. Alamiru looks up at the screen now and sees his compatriot Gebre Meskel in behind, who is the fastest in the world this year over this 12.5 lap distance. And Gebre Meskel, the world #1 on times alone, is in 2nd place. Longa Siwa for Kenya on the inside in 3rd. The other Kenyan, Koech, is on the outside in 4th. And then Farah is joining them now in 5th place. How much is left in those legs with 3 laps to go? We're getting to the stage of the race when it really will start to tell if it's hurting.
1,200 metres left of the 5,000 now, Mike. And Mo Farah has his game face on. He's ready. He's got this covered. Yes, it might be hard for Mo, but it's hard for the Ethiopians that are pushing it on. Alamiro, he really is driving on. 61-second laps. Look at the cadence, look at the leg turnover. It really is starting to turn. Everyone we expect to be there is there. Gebre Meskel is the one that's dropped back, but he's the one that they're trying to save. He's now moving onto the shoulder. It's the Ethiopians 1, 2 and 3 with Mo Farah right in the middle.
Gebre Meskel leads then, the man who finished third behind Farah in the World Championship final last year. Has Farah got his measure once again? He moves through right onto his shoulder. Alamiru and Gebriwot are making it an Ethiopian 1, 2, 3 in the first 4, interrupted only by Farah. Heading down the home straight, just over 800 metres to run. The long-striding Kenyan Isaiah Koech moves through to take contention now in the front 5. They go through with 2 laps to go, and it's Gebre Meskel from Farah in second place.
That was a 62-second lap there, Mike. Again, the pressure is on. Gebre Meskel's going to really have to hurt if he's going to try and take it out. But listen to the roar. Mo Farah loves to run from the front. He loves to wind it up from the front. And that's exactly where he is, with 700 metres to go, Mike.
This is such a brave move. Is it a winning move for Mo Farah? He leads by just a metre now from Isaiah Koech of Kenya, moving into second place. Bernard Lagat and Galen Rupp, the 2 Americans, are coming through to challenge now. And Farah looks over to his right, to his training partner, Galen Rupp, as if to ask for a bit of help. And those 2 are now creating a wall in front of the others. The others now will have to move around the outside and therefore cover more ground. Down the home straight for the penultimate time, and Lomong of Kenya, now representing the United States, comes through to challenge Farah. Farah still there from Gebriwot now at the bell. 400 metres to go.
Gebre Meskel's gone, Mike. It's Gebriwot that's going to be the damage for Ethiopia. There's pushing, there's barging. This is going to be quick. The Ethiopians have run out of it now. It looks like it's him. Is it Koech coming? Mo Farah against the Kenyans down the back straight, but watch Guida.
Is this going to be another one of those nights that we remember for many, many years? 200 metres to go. Farah reaches for the fighter within. He's half a metre clear of Longa Siwa with Igida of Morocco on the outside. Can Farah hold them all off? They're queuing up in behind into the home straight. His face is a mask of pain, but he's fighting back. It's Farah from Gebre Meskel on the outside, but Farah kicks again, and Farah goes for gold, and Farah wins gold again. Can you believe it? It's double gold for Mo Farah, the man who 4 years ago couldn't even reach the Olympic final. Now he's won 5,000 metres gold. He's won the long distance double. No wonder he can't believe it. Olympic dreams are made of this.
Arise, Sir Mo Farah. You are a legend. And somewhere in this mad stadium, your wife Tanya Farah is getting ready to give birth to your twins as you do sit-ups. He's now doing some crunch sit-ups. That was Usain Bolt. Whatever you can do, I can do better. We have just witnessed a legend, and not only a legend, a British distance legend.
And Mo Farah now starts his celebratory lap. He's getting everybody to do the Mobot, where he makes the gestures above his head of the M and the O. And this is a performance that will be remembered long, long after Mo Farah has retired. What a performance. Gold over 10,000 metres. He took it up with just about 2 laps to go. The courage of the man, the strength of the man, the stamina of the man, ultimately the brilliance of the double gold medalist, only the 7th man in 100 years to complete the Olympic long distance double. What a night once again for British athletics. Super Saturday last weekend, Super Farah Saturday this time round.
Well, I didn't think it was possible, Chris Thompson, for this stadium to be noisier than last weekend, but it may just have been incrementally even louder. What do you say about your friend and your training partner?
I am so happy for the guy. They threw everything at him. He fought every chance. I said to you, going into the final lap, He was in the right position. Every time someone tried to go around him, he fought them. He had to react to every single one. I'm shaking, my heart's beating so fast for the guy. And he fought in the home straight. Every bit of emotion he wears on his face when he is driving for the line. And that was incredible. Gebremesco was coming at him hard. And Mo, no, this is my time. I am doing the double today. And he did it. Can you believe it? He did it.
He had time to kiss. You know, when he does the little kiss, the double kiss of the hands. He still had time to do it. That was unbelievable. And I tell you what, I must give credit to Gebremesco, because I'd love to see what his last 400 was, because he was in a terrible position with 400 to go.
And Chris, I think also it was just tactically, he just seemed to get it right. You were saying to me, he's doing the right thing, he's reacting at the right time to the right place. He got it right in every part of the race, you were saying.
Exactly. I mean, I was watching the final 4 or 5 laps, and they started to pick it up, and the lap they were running 61, 62, 61, and he was still able to control the race and do what he wanted. At that pace is just phenomenal. And he ran a 52.9 final 400, which is just phenomenal. To actually control, put yourself in the right position at that kind of pace, just shows the class. He's done that in the most. That's not a soft race. That was a tough race, and he did it.
Well, Dame Kelly Holmes, you know what it's like to do the double. You know what it's like to do the double.
Of emotion. That was just awesome. Honestly, he put himself in the right place. What I saw with him when he started the race, which I wasn't sure was going to happen, he just took it easy. He paced the race to how he felt. He looked at the changes, he looked when people were making their move, he made those moves, he let them go around, but he was in control the whole of that race, and you could see it, the way that he was looking around, the way that he let them go past, he just found his space, he didn't want to be in trouble, didn't want to get tripped, because that's the type of race it could have been. But when he went, and on that last 110, he was surrounded. Any one of them at that time could have had that extra gear, but he kept his gears. You see when he went to his front, that was just him going to the front. He was just striding out. Then he had another gear. Then he had another gear around the bend, and he held a gear to the home straight, and then he had his last gear on the last 60 metres. It was ridiculous.
So
it's brilliant.
You see your left hand with the nail varnish. That was the 10,000. Your right hand for the 5,000.
What I say
there
is
you are. It's double.
Gold. He's having twins. He couldn't just have one gold medal. That wouldn't be fair, would it?
It's the double bubble. And with about 600 metres to go, he went to the front, and you sort of went, whoa, calm down, as if just for a split second you thought he was going to do what he did in Daegu last year, when he just went too early on the 10,000.
Exactly, and that I was watching at home last year in the 10,000, and one of the things he's built over the years is his confidence in his own ability, and he's almost gone a little bit too early, almost nervously, and when he went round everyone, I thought, whoa Mo, don't go too early, let them try and bring the race to you, you're in control at the front. And he did that. He went to the front, he sat back, and then he waited for them to come at him. And he did everything the right thing. But I can't emphasize, he's run a sub 4 minute mile at the end of that. A sub 4 minute mile. We take things like that for granted these days. It's incredible.
So tell us what's going on back in Oregon right now, because that's where the base work is done, isn't it? This is where everybody sees the achievement, but that's where the work is done.
Exactly. I mean, to do a performance like that takes a lot of hard work and a great team around him. Obviously every athlete will be working extremely hard and trying to do that, but to execute it, to actually win the gold medal, to win a double gold medal, it's so satisfying for the group of athletes and the team around them to achieve that. And I think it's a testament to what they're doing and how well they're doing and how much hard work. I mean, he's with Alberto right now, actually, as I'm talking. There's almost like
that's
job done.
Yep. Just for a second, he put on one of those little plastic Union Jack hats that people wore at the Jubilee tea parties, and then he took it off quickly. Wonderful. He was going along the far side there, high-fiving everybody. And the great thing about him is he's so popular, Chris, that people in pubs and clubs and probably restaurants and garden centres and motorways and their own gardens will have been screaming, listening to Mike, and screaming at the television as well. Such is his popularity now. That will have just brought the UK down.
Exactly. I mean, he is such a great guy. I mean, he's the same person I knew when we were teenagers and growing up and going through the years as youngsters.
Remind us what you did off Richmond today.
I wasn't there for that. You can't blame me.
Let's bring in Darren. What about that, Darren? You said rightly so, Usain Bolt, you are a legend. We attach the same label, do we not, to Mo Farah after that?
I think you've got to. Somebody asked me today what it would mean if Mo was able to achieve this double, and I said, you know, with everything we've seen Usain Bolt do, how could you not put Mo Farah up there with that? Would he be able to do it? I said, I don't know, because I don't know what is possible in the human body. He's just won the 10,000 metres and the 5,000 metres. He looked tired in the heat, and he's come back, he's recovered. I think I said after the 10,000 metres that his life should be made into a movie. I think we've just seen part 2 of the movie.
Well, funny you say that, because, Mike, someone said to me at the beginning of the year, I said to somebody at the beginning of the year, what story from the Olympics, if it goes well, would be made into a movie? And they said straight away, Mo Farah. Have to be Mo Farah.
Absolutely, because of the background, leaving Somalia when he was 8 years of age, couldn't speak the language, had only 3 phrases when he came here: come on then, excuse me, and where's the toilet? And, you know, running cross-country races and getting lost because he couldn't read the directions, and yet still finished first and second in those races, and coming through to do what he's done. And we saw over there, I think, a reflection when he was embraced by Alberto Salazar of what it takes sometimes for these athletes to get where they've got, because he won double gold at the European Championships. I spoke to another athlete who won at the European Championships, and he said that he's now being recognised in supermarkets.
Let's go to Sonia McLaughlin, who is with somebody who knows Mo Farah extremely well, of course.
He does, and that's his training partner there in Oregon, Galen Rupp. Let me first ask you, Galen, your own disappointment, because after a silver in the 10,000, you must have had high hopes of doing your own double.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought I had a great chance coming in. My training's been going well, but you know, you try to prepare for, you know, a race like I had on Saturday, and it's hard to kind of get, you know, see with everything that comes with it, just how emotionally, you know, you come down and then get back up for another race. So, you know, it was definitely tough, but yeah, I'm pleased. I think I put myself in a good position, and I'm just not strong enough yet. You know, I think I just need a few more years of training, a few more years of experience, and hopefully I'll be right up there with Mo.
And if you couldn't win yourself today, are you very glad that it's Mo Farah who's taken this gold medal?
Yeah, no, I'm thrilled for him. You know, it really couldn't have happened. A more just great human being. You know, he is such a great friend to me, but just a great person in general. You know, I'm thrilled for him. It couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Give us an insight, if you would, the two of you training. It's like the loneliness of the long-distance runner, but at least you have each other. Just how much hard work you do together?
You know, we do a lot of it. You know, whenever we're in the same city, you know, we're training together and doing 99% of the stuff. So it makes it easier, definitely having one of your best friends out there. And you know, we go through a lot, but you know, we have a lot of fun together too. So it definitely makes it a lot easier.
And he said after the heat of this 5,000 that he got bumped and barged. There were a few people picking on him out there. Did you talk tactics, the pair of you, ahead of this race? If you were in some senses were able to help him?
Yeah, a little bit. He joked around. You know, he said you're a little bit of a bigger guy, so I missed having you in there to kind of protect me. So, but yeah, no, I mean we just wanted to stay out of trouble as much as we could in the beginning, and just save as much energy, stay out of a lot of that pushing and shoving, and then when it was time to go, you know, then we move up. But up until that point, we really just wanted to stay back and stay safe.
He's not going to get big-headed now, is he? He's going to keep his feet on the ground.
No, not at all. He's just going to chill out and live the dream, as he would say.
and who can blame him for that? Hard lines to you, Galen, but thank you for talking to us. He's going to live the dream. How can we blame him, Mark?
Absolutely, Sonia. Thank you. We've just seen Mo Farah with his family with a Union flag which said "Fly, Mo." Well, it seems like he has. Steve Backley, what about that? We were honoured and privileged to see Usain Bolt and David Rudisha this week, and now the double from Mo Farah.
Just blown away, absolutely blown. I thought it was an extremely confident run. The way from the gun, he just went to the back of the field, he ran his own race, he didn't get flustered. It looked like he had a very clear plan, and he executed, and ultimately had the legs to take him to gold. And you know, the first person ever to take that title. It was interesting. I just looked round, we got the BBC TV team behind us, and there was no bigger smile than the one on Brendan Foster's face. Of course, bronze medalist in 76, and he was absolutely ear to ear with his grin, which kind of summed it up for me. That was a great moment, possibly one of the greatest ever moments of British athletics history.
Well, we have got about half an hour at the end, and we can debate this. And I just said it to Mike Costello off air, so we'll just leave it hanging for a moment. We can debate in the last half hour, what is the British achievement of this last 10 days? Is it Jess Ennis or Mo Farah? No, just wait, Darren. You'll have plenty of time. And what is yeah, exactly. You're disqualified. And what is the achievement of track and field generally? Was it Rudisha's world record? Was it Mo Farah? Usain Bolt doing the double-double? These are all great things, as Mike said. How good that we can have this discussion. It shows the quality of what we've seen in the last 8 days. Well, Steve Parry, I said they'd be celebrating up and down the land, and you're right next door to us, but they'd have been celebrating in Olympic Park.
Yeah, and I've got a few people here with me that just think Mo Farah is the most fantastic thing. Is that right? We were standing around. We were having a Mobot competition before, but in amongst all this red, white, and blue, Mark, there was two people that stuck out for me: Catherine and Laura. They've got everything Union Jack on. They are dressed head to toe in this, and they actually ran the whole 5,000 metres running on the spot with Mo Farah. Was it worth all of your efforts to make Mo win that race, Catherine?
It was worth every moment. It was absolutely fantastic. Loved it.
Now, where are you off to next?
We're off to the dive-in to watch Tom Daley get his gold medal.
And that'll be another gold, will it?
It better be.
Laura, you were going crazy all the way through that race. What is it that you think makes Mo Farah such a national treasure?
I just think he's amazing. He's brilliant at what he does, and he's absolutely great.
There you go. You've made it down here. And also, you guys, what was your name, sorry?
Andy.
And if you've got kids, you think they'll be inspired by Mo?
Oh, yeah. Ben and Eva are going to be well impressed by all of this.
I'm loving it. If you haven't got red, white, and blue, you cannot be at Park Live. It's an amazing sight down here, Mark. You should take some time off and come down.
Oh, every time I walk through there's such a good vibe. Someone's just sent me a tweet which says, Kelly Holmes, there's going to need to be 5 sports personalities of the year this year. That is good. Well, it's not a nightmare because it's up to you out there. But there are so many runners and riders: Bradley Wiggins, Jess Ennis, Mo Farah. Who knows where to start? But that was mind-blowing.
That was outstanding. Honestly, it was absolutely brilliant, because I was saying at the beginning, has he recovered enough? You know, mentally he would come out there and be the Mo that he needs to be to win, you know. But, you know, I was having these kind of, will he, won't he, can he, yes. But going back to the Sports Personality of the Year, I haven't got a clue how they're going to do that one. I mean, I do think they should have a women, a men and an overall, because how can you pick out of all of our Team GB medalists just 10 top people? I'm sorry, that can't happen. They need to change it. It's got to be a women's sports personality of the year, a men's sports personality of the year, and then an overall, and let the public choose of that.
I reckon they should do one for Monday, the sports personality.
Super Saturday,
Monday,
though.
The Tuesday, actually, yeah.
Look,
no,
Saturday, we started off on our 3 gold medals, and we've now finished off another one. How brilliant is that?
It is a wonderfully difficult choice, because it's great that we're having this conversation, because it means there are so many people who could be out there with it. And it means, because I know you're about to go, it means, as I say, the fact that we can have a discussion. What is the British performance here? Is it Mo Farah or Jess Ennis? What's the international performance? Because David Rudisha broke the world record last night. That was out of this world.
Apart from Mo is now obviously the best night, but apart from that men's 800 was incredible. For 8 men to get personal best, national records, season's best, never ever seen it at all, and for all of them to have broken the previous 3 Olympic cycles, gold medalist time, outstanding for me.
It's been a great week of track and field, hasn't it?
It has been absolutely brilliant, and I applaud all of, firstly, Team GB's medals. It's been great. There's been some highs and lows, which there always is, but I think here in this stadium we've witnessed some outstanding performances, and it's just been a pleasure to be part of it.
And the crowd have played their part. I mean, the
crowd are playing all of it.
Yeah, I was quite bossy with Chris. I said, take your headphones off on the last lap, because I know you heard it last week, but you could hear it this time in a little bit more of a relaxed manner. And it was just unbelievable, the noise, because people realise, Chris, see, the other great thing about the British sporting public is they're very well educated. They know what they're watching. And particularly track and field and our major sports, and let's be honest, they've educated themselves very quickly in the last 10 days with judo and taekwondo and things, but they understood immediately what they were about to see here.
And the other thing, they've embraced the Olympics hugely. It was their huge desire and understanding of wanting British athletes to do well and succeed, and you saw the emotion of all the after the 10,000 that they closed in on some of the spectators. They were having an absolute ball, and it was the same here when you told me to take it off and see it from this seat, and everyone was absolutely just having a great time watching someone try their absolute hardest, and everyone shared in that moment. And it's just incredible on every level, in every way. This Olympics has, for me, been everything and more, in every way, shape and form.
Yeah, and you just got to remember that people here have never witnessed this kind of level of performance in terms of Olympics. Okay, we've all been to lots of major championships. Some of these will be fans, but majority of the people in here, this is the first time they've ever witnessed the high level achievers that we're seeing here tonight. The emotion that they're getting now, they would never ever have believed they would have been part of this journey. For me, Britain and the public have made these games the games that they are. How they've got behind the athletes, how they've just brought the spirit alive. I think it's the most amazing thing we've ever witnessed and will ever witness again.
I think you're right there, because although it's wonderful to see success, and of course it is that 27 golds now? I've lost count because it gets a bit vulgar after a while. But it's more important that, actually, isn't it, Kelly? It is more important how much people have embraced it, and then the whole sense of there'll be people in here tonight, young boys and girls, who will want to run now, won't they? They'll want to run because they've seen that.
In future Olympic Games, our champions will say, I was inspired the day I watched Mo Farah or Jess Ennis, or the Olympics came to our hometown or country. And that's what this Games is about. It's inspired a generation, in fact many generations.
You're very welcome to stay if you'd like to.
800 metres, I might as well stay for a little bit. It's a good view from
I think
here.
you know something about the 800 metres. Here's Mike.
And the 8 finalists have been called forward to their start lines, and they include the defending champion Pamela Gelimo from Kenya, drawn in lane 6. To her outside is the world champion from 2009, Caster Semenya, who Kelly Holmes was saying earlier on ran so strongly in her semi-final. They reach the entrance to the back straight and will filter over towards the inside, and it's the confirmed front runner. She likes to do it from the head of affairs, Alicia Montano from the United States, who's very close to the front, being challenged by Janet Jepkosgei, who has the family name Busine on her vest, but runs as Janet Jepkosgei, and she's right there in second place. Then it's the defending champion Pamela Gelimo in third, fastest in the world this year, and she's followed through by Poistogova of Russia in 4, and the world champion Marina Savinova at this stage is in 6th place, with Semenya right at the back of the field and maybe 15 metres off the lead, which is being held by Montano, the American champion. From through in 2nd place now is Jepkosgei, Gelimo in 3rd. 400 metres to go, Alison Kirbishley.
And as we're used to seeing the American Montano leading them through in 56.31, slightly slower than she did in her heat. This has only ever paid off for her at the World Indoor Champs, where she pinched a bronze medal. It certainly isn't going to happen tonight. And just as I speak, Mike, Gelimo's making the move. 300 metres to go.
Attempting to win the gold medal for the 2nd time in a row. She was Kenya's first ever female Olympic champion when she won this title over 2 laps in Beijing in 2008. And she's gone for home fully 300 metres out. And now her closest challenger is Maria Savinova of Russia, the reigning world champion, and she's cutting down the deficit now. She draws alongside Gelimo, who grimaces as she enters the home straight. Poistogova of Russia is in 3rd place. Semenya making ground from the back of the field and will challenge only for bronze. As Savinova now strikes the front, goes on by 5 or 6 metres now on the run for the line. 40 metres to go. Semenya finishing very quickly and will take the silver medal. Savinova wins. Semenya in 2nd, very close for 3rd between Gelimo and Poistogova. But the world champion becomes the Olympic champion. Maria Savinova of Russia takes 800 metres gold.
Yeah, and I think Poistogova did get the bronze medal there. I think she managed to just dip on the line. A shame for Gelimo, because she really did give it her all down the back straight, but just gave it too much. It was just picture perfect. I mean, we could have written the script, couldn't we? Montano takes it out. Savinova runs a beautiful race, just paces it, enjoys somebody else doing the hard work for her, and she just glided down the back straight, made her move gracefully, and Semenya just left it too late. She had a lot of work to do, ran a phenomenal last lap, but gave them all about a 3-4 metre head start.
And just as she did at the World Championships last year, a season's best on the biggest stage of the season, in this case the Olympic Games, and it's 800 metres gold to Russia and to Maria Savinova.
Kelly Holmes, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was a race that you expect to see at an Olympic Games. 1:56 is the average that you're seeing women run these days. Of course, Savinova looked very, very strong. Was definitely taken out by Lena from... who was it doing? Alicia. Was obviously was going to take it out there, which is obviously going to be a fast run. Custer, though, I don't know if she gave it her all. I don't think she gave it her all in that race. She looked fine, very, very strong. She didn't look like she put it on the other gear. She didn't look like she was grimacing at all. I don't know whether her head wasn't in it, but when you look at her crossing that line, she looked easy, didn't look like it affected her. She just strided out on the last 200 metres. I think she was holding back.
I mean, she was what, second last with 200 metres to go, wasn't she?
Second last, but she didn't put on an extra sprint. She just kind of used her strength. It's always the person that slows down the least generally, then the person that's speeding up. She did look very strong. She didn't seem like she was putting on the chase, if I'm totally honest, but who knows? She's been through a lot, and maybe she just wanted to be a runner that wasn't getting any controversy and just kind of was there and doing what she does best. But I'm very pleased to see her back here and running, and she got a silver medal from it.
Silver for Semenya and Savinova of Russia winning the gold medal in the 800 metres. So we have got two more events to come here on the track, and they're both relays. The women's 4x400 with Great Britain in that, and the men's 4x1 vault, and the Jamaicans against the USA. At the Olympics on 5 Live with Mark Pugac and the team live in the Olympic Stadium at 8 minutes past 8.
This is the Olympic Station.
An Olympic dream is realised.
London 2012
on 5 Live.
And a legend of British athletics is born.
His face is a mask of pain, but he's fighting back. It's Farah from Gebre Meskel on the outside, but Farah kicks again, and Farah goes for gold, and Farah wins gold again. Can you believe it? It's double gold for Mo Farah, the man who 4 years ago couldn't even reach the Olympic final. Now he's won 5,000 metres gold. He's won the long distance double. Olympic dreams are made of this.
Maria Savinova of Russia has just won the women's 800 metres. More drama to come in the next hour, including the women's 4x400 relay and the men's sprint relay. Now at 8:30, Tom Daley goes in the final of the men's 10-metre platform. At 8:45, it's Luke Campbell fighting for boxing gold. There was gold for Ed McKeever this morning in the K1 canoe sprint. John Schofield and Liam Heath took bronze in the K2. Mexico beat Brazil 2-1 to win the men's football at Wembley. In the men's hockey, Britain lost their bronze medal match to the Australians 3-1, and the gold medal match is now live on Olympics Extra, 0-0 between Holland and Germany.
Remember, you can catch every Olympic moment right here on 5 Live, and also over on our new digital radio station, 5 Live Olympics Extra. And if you miss it, catch up later on the BBC Sport website. This is the Olympic Station.
BBC Radio 5 Live.
I'm Faye Rusco with the BBC 5 Live News. Team GB's Mo Farah has just won the 5,000 metres final to take his second gold medal at the 2012 Olympics. He won the 10,000 metres final a week ago. On the night, Jess Ennis won the heptathlon and Greg Rutherford took gold in the long jump. Britain has now won 27 gold medals. The police have apologised for making mistakes in their search for 12-year-old Tia Sharp, who was reported missing 8 days ago. Yesterday, they found a body in her grandmother's house, having already searched it earlier. The grandmother, Christine Sharp, has been arrested on suspicion of murder, along with her partner, Stuart Hazel. The name's been released of a British soldier who was shot dead in Helmand Province on Thursday. Lieutenant Andrew Roberts Chesterman, who was 26, was serving with 3rd Battalion, the Rifles. 2 earthquakes have struck Iran, killing 87 people and injuring about 400. Hundreds of homes in dozens of villages have been damaged. And more details have been released about tomorrow night's closing ceremony. Organisers say it'll be a symphony of British music as well as a celebration of fashion and culture. They'll start transforming the Olympic Stadium after the athletics tonight.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
London 2012 with Mark Pugac.
A long-distance double for Mo Farah. I think there's a collective breathing in from the crowd just to try and comprehend what they've seen. Mo Farah here is talking to Phil Jones.
Mo, you've just written yourselves in the annals of Olympic history, double gold medalist. Can you describe the feeling?
Oh, it's just unbelievable.
I was a lot of confidence going to the race, and you know, in the heat I didn't feel so good, but I had to say I felt tired, so I was hoping like the guys and I would do something and try and get rid of me, so who helped me a lot, and it worked out, so it's pretty good.
When you hit the front, there was no way anyone was going to get past you.
No, the American guy tried to come past me, but I knew I just had to hold on to it. And going into it, I got great support from the crowd, and you know, it means a lot to me. And that 2 medals is to my, obviously, my 2 girls are coming. They have not born yet. Hopefully, they're born. And I just do want to leave out. So there's twins, so one of each.
That's great. Yeah, the twins should tell everybody at home arrive next month.
Well, literally, like they could arrive any day. The doctor said you got 12 days, literally, between now.
Incredible. Now, I know that we're going to see you in this country again shortly, I think in Birmingham, and then definitely for the Great North Run. Are you ready for everything that's going to follow now? Because Mo Mania is going to sweep the country. Are you ready for that?
I don't know what's going on, mate. Just taking one race at a time. You know, the Olympics doesn't come around often, and well, it's just, you know, everything has a time, and you know, it just all worked that well. So I'm just amazed, you know, 2 gold medals. Who would have thought that? And I'm looking forward to competing in Birmingham and the Great North Run. So I'm really excited, and get all the people out there as well, you know. 1st of September, I'm having a big auction, charity, the Mo Farah Foundation, so the table's still to be there booked, so just get on the website, Mo Farah, is it mofarahfoundation.org.
The demand will be incredible, I'm sure, and the way the noise just grows as you're running around, it's kind of like a Mexican wave of noise.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I just want to thank everyone who supported me, and all my coaches previous years, and you know, all the people who's been a part of my life, and you know, I can't thank everybody enough for, you know, and I just want to say, particularly my wife, and you know, just like her carrying the twins, it hasn't been easy, but I didn't want to know about it. If anything happened, and she promised me she would let me know, so I'm glad it all worked out well.
She's well. We just saw you giving her a hug, so that's good. And we saw your daughter then, the kiss, and well, the whole nation wants to give you a big kiss right now, I'm sure, to say well done, congratulations. It's been wonderful, Mark.
It's been just a long journey and grafting, but you know, anything is possible. So it's all the people out there. So it's just hard work and grafting. Thank you.
Well done again.
Thank you.
Well, Chris Thompson, you know all about that, sometime training partner of Mo and friend of him and fellow long-distance runner. You know, that's it in essence, isn't it, Chris? There's no shortcuts to success, and I suppose that's another lesson for us from the Olympics, isn't it? You just said it there, Mo. Long hours, hard graft, hard work. There ain't no shortcut. Not even for Usain Bolt.
Exactly. Every gold medalist here would have earned it, and no more so than Mo. I mean, he's worked incredibly hard. I mean, his coach Alberto is always on him, all the little things. Have you done this? Have you done that? He's always giving him, making sure he's constantly on it. And every day, he's made every day count, every hour count towards this. And he's made a heck of a lot of sacrifice. Everyone knows he's got twins on the way. And that's a big thing coming up. And he's had to lock himself away and get ready for this. And hopefully now he can look forward to being a dad.
He moved the whole family out, didn't he, in the end, to Oregon?
He did, yes. He moved them all out last year to Portland. And that was a huge upheaval, and you've got to get used to a new way of doing things, a new routine. And I know how difficult it was for me moving to Eugene with my girlfriend Gemma and the A&J Jamita runner. It's not easy, and he's done it, and he's coming out of it with... He's only made one. He's silver in the 10,000 last year in Daegu. Is the only thing, the blemish on his record, over 4 races and 2 global championships. It's incredible.
He's still got to be the man that goes out there and done it. But all credit to Alberto Salazar. Something has clicked, because this was the Mo Farah that we saw finishing 7th in World Championships, finishing 6th back in 2007, 2009. You know, the Mo Farah that got beat for the European title back in 2006. And this is a guy that didn't even qualify for the final of the 5,000 metres 4 years ago. And moving after the Europeans, when he shared the podium with Chris Thompson, that winter of 2010, to do what he's done with Alberto Salazar now, that Oregon project, it just works. It works for him, it works for Galen Rupp, and I just think it's special.
And looking at the wider picture, this is only the 4th time in 100 years that Britain have won 4 gold medals in athletics at the Olympic Games. 1980 in Moscow, the boycotted games. 1964 in Tokyo, Lynn Davis, Mary Rand and the rest. 1920 in Antwerp, and now here at London 2012.
Just quite sensational, and I know that wherever you are watching on TV with the sound turned down and Mike and Alison up, or just if maybe you're on the motorway, you will have enjoyed it as much as we have here, because that was just mind-blowing. I can honestly say, and Mike, you and I are very lucky with what we do, that is quite possibly the most sensational sporting thing I've ever seen. That really is, and I'm extremely fortunate. We've seen a lot of things in a lot of sports.
One of those nights, Mark, when it's all done, we just sit here for 5 minutes and take it in and remember what we've seen.
One of the amazing things I did see, to be fair, once was Kevin Peterson's innings when England won the Ashes at the Oval, and he has said that he wants to, this has just come in, Kevin Peterson has said he wants to commit to all forms of cricket for England. So of course that means one-day internationals in 2020, and he's done that in a video posted on YouTube this evening. So Kevin Peterson has said in a video posted on YouTube this evening that he wants to commit to all forms of cricket for England. So of course with the test match starting this week against South Africa at Lords, there'll be lots more on that. Right, your text, the Osbornes and others sitting in a field in West Wales around our campfire listening to the brilliant coverage. Massive cheer when Mo won. Martin, brilliant Mo Farah, the 60th medal in the Queen's Jubilee year. No one could have done it better. Mo has now completed the treble, says Steve. The 10,000, the 5,000, and he beat the cube as well. I still don't understand the cube. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't understand it. But Mo's done it there. Right, unbelievable. More reaction to come, and I know he'll go past Sonia as well. So we'll hear more, I hope, from Mo Farah as we go to the diving. Big night for Tom Daley. Now let's hope that Tom gets inspired by Mo Farah, Vassos Alexander.
Yeah, well, we all have been a little bit here in the Aquatic Centre. I think everyone was listening to 5 Live here, because just as Mike said, and it's gold for Mo Farah, there was a huge cheer from the early fans that were here in the Aquatic Centre to watch Tom Daley in the men's 10-metre platform final. They're off at 25 past 8, so in 6 minutes time. And Tom Daley, I don't know if you believe in omens, but Tom Daley is 9th of the 12 divers on the start list. It's because he qualified 4th best for the final, and they go in reverse order, and it was from this start position, 9th, that he won his World Championship in 2009. Nervous, sort of disinterested a bit yesterday. Tom Daley only qualified 15th for the semi-finals. Much, much better this morning, especially his last 4 dives, which were the Tom Daley that we've been seeing in the last few months in the World Cup circuit and at the British Championships. And he said he's better off this morning, mostly because his mind was right.
Diving is mainly a mental sport, like a psychological sport, because all the things that you're doing, you have to be able to keep you cool under pressure. You have to be able to go out there, because everyone knows that everyone can do the dives well, and everyone can go out there and win on any day. So it's about whoever can keep their head and whoever can dive the best on the night.
And that must give you a big confidence boost for tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bigger confidence boost than last night. So yeah, it's good to actually, I seem to have dived a lot better this morning, and I feel like I'm back and I'm ready to go. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'm not expecting much, because those Chinese seem to be pretty unstoppable at the moment.
Karen, the good thing is, I suppose, that you were telling me this last night, even though he hasn't dived very well up till now, that doesn't actually matter, does it, in the sense of the scoring?
No, absolutely. It's back to 0 for all the divers now. So what happened in the last 2 in the prelims and the semi-finals counts for nothing. We know he's got a great position into that final with not going right at the end. He can put pressure on those divers after him. And he said, that the Chinese look pretty unstoppable at the moment, but actually they have faltered. They haven't got a clean sweep of golds at these Olympic Games, and it was in the 10-metre 4 years ago that happened. So under pressure, strange things can happen, so they definitely are beatable.
We're going to be keep a very close eye, of course, on Tom Daley with Karen and with Vassos. And the boxing's coming up in, 25 minutes' time. Men's bantamweight, Luke Campbell against John Joe Nevin of Ireland. Darren Fletcher, you will have an atmosphere to match this one, I know.
Well, we've got one already, because we've got an act in the ring at the moment, getting the crowd sorted out. It's absolutely packed out in the boulevard just outside of the arena here at Excel, with lots of Great Britain supporters and lots of Irish supporters. It's going to be significant tonight, whichever way it goes. The last time Great Britain got 2 golds in the boxing ring was 1956. The only Irishman ever to win a gold in the boxing ring is Michael Carruth in 1992. It's going to be a good fight between the very impressive John Joe Nevin and the world number 2 Luke Campbell, Bunsey.
It's going to be a sensational fight between those two. What we have to remember here, Fletch, is, and this is what we're watching, there's 2 battles today. It's the crowd battle. Who's managed to get the most tickets? Is it the Brits? Is it the people from Hull?
Or is it this mad Irish flock that just seem to acquire tickets as easy as you and I acquire roasted buns?
Tactically, Lennox Lewis, it's difficult to separate, isn't it? Because they both impressed us on the way. You give the slight edge at this stage, though, to Nevin, I think.
Yeah, a little bit. Styles make fights, and Nevin has definitely good footwork, and Campbell's got that awkward style, and he's long and lanky. So it's going to be an interesting fight, especially the first round. I'm excited to see it.
Mark, I hope you can hear us. It's a taste of things to come. Luke Campbell against John Joe Nevin. They're due in the ring about 8:45.
I can't wait for tomorrow, Darren. I'm going to come down and see you at boxing tomorrow lunchtime, because I know it's been one of the things of this Olympic Games. Thank you for now enjoying your tweets telling me that people saying that hugging strangers in the pub when Mo Farah won. That's what sport does to you. Steve Backley, there's a huge roar away to our left a moment or two ago. The women's high jump is obviously getting exciting.
Women's high jump, 2 meters and 3 centimeters, and Anna Chicharova has gone clear. She's joined by Bridget Barrett for a new lifetime best. But on the javelin runway, Andreas Thorkildsen, we're in the last round. He's in 5th place at the moment. He needs a throw of beyond 84.5 meters, and it's going to come down shy. The double Olympic champion has failed to get on the rostrum here at the London Games, and do you know what? That's a huge upset in javelin throwing. The lead is, I would never have predicted this. Kishon Walcott, a 19-year-old from Trinidad and Tobago, is out in front with 84 meters and 58 centimeters, a national record, and a 19-year-old, a junior in athletic terms, leading that event.
So we're building up then with 2 events to go on the track. That is all. We've got the men's sprint relay at 9 o'clock. That's going to be Jamaica against the USA, it would seem. Bolt going for the double treble, of course. And now the women's 4x400 relay. Kath Merry, a chance for Great Britain to get another medal.
Indeed, and a realistic chance as well. They were 3rd fastest to qualify for this final. We're bringing in Perry Shakes-Drayton, which would normally send fear among other relay teams in the world, but she hasn't had the best championships. It's very similar to Di Green here. We've brought out an athlete in Ailey Child. She ran the heat. We've taken her out and replacing her with Perry Shakes-Drayton because we believe in her and we hope she's going to run a good leg. We don't want to see a repeat of what happened in Di Green in the men's 4x4 final where he underperformed. But it's a realistic opportunity for a medal here. The clear favourites are the United States of America, a team comprising of Dee Dee Trotter. They're bringing in Alison Felix, of course, the Olympic 200-metre champion, Francine McCoray, and then the individual 400-metre champion of Sanya Richards-Ross. They're the defending champions, the USA. They are the big favourites, but Great Britain, along with the likes of Russia and Jamaica and the Ukraine, have a real good chance of a medal here.
And what do you make of the British order then, Kath? Shana Cox, Lee McConnell, Perry Shakes-Drayton, and then obviously the silver medalist, former Olympic champion Christina Horogu.
It's a little bit different, and I can see why they've done it. Shana Cox has been regularly now starting off the 4x4 teams. I understand that one. Lee McConnell, second leg, good runner. I understand that one. The debate was between Perry Shakes-Drayton, who they put on 3rd, and Christina Horogu on 4th. Normally, and I would have expected it to be the other way round, the fighter Perry Shakes-Drayton on the last leg, like she was at the World Indoor Championships in Istanbul, holding off the Americans. But I think that move's been done to put Perry on 3rd and Christine on 4th because Perry isn't in the best shape at the moment, not making the final of the 400-metre hurdles. It's a good squad, it's a decent team. The order, as we will see, will prevail if it was the right one.
Now, we're running a couple of minutes behind schedule, aren't we? You can see, because it's, I mean, normally, actually, to be fair, the athletics does go off when it says it does, but obviously there's celebrations going on from the javelin of Walcott of Trinidad earlier. And it is a little bit breezier this evening, isn't it? So they're out there making, and actually all still in their tracksuits just at the moment, because the breeze has got up a bit.
It has got up a bit. It has been a bit chillier and windy in the stadium here tonight. Not that it affected Mo Farah or the temperature and excitement of the 80,000 people crammed in here. But these are nervous times as an athlete, because you just want to get going. You know what time you'd have started warming up, you know what time you're brought out onto the track, you are ready to rock and roll. The tracksuits are now coming off, but this as an athlete is where you have to focus. This isn't individual athletics, this is team athletics. Not so much pressure on the changeovers, of course, as a short, sharper 4x100 metre relay, but accidents do happen on changeovers in 4x4 because it does get a bit bustly, it does get a little bit argy-bargy. So this is where you really do have to concentrate and just wait until you're told to get going.
Let's get a quick update from the golf, 3rd day of the USPGA. Ian Carter.
Already a very interesting start to this third round. Rory McIlroy with birdies at the first 2 holes, but then drove into a tree at the third, had to take a penalty drop, so is likely to drop a shot at that third hole. As it stands at the moment, he's at 4 under par. He's one behind the new leader, Vijay Singh, who's birdied the first. A par at the start for Tiger Woods, and Ian Poulter's opened up with 2 straight pars. He's at 3 under par alongside Jamie Donaldson, just 2 shots off the lead.
It's still 0-0 in the Olympic final. That's between the Dutch and the Germans, and it's on Olympics Extra. You can find that on your digital radio right next door to us on the dial. A little bit earlier, the British men put up a brave fight in the bronze medal match, but the Australians ultimately too strong, winning by 3 goals to 1. 2 events to go. They're going to have to go some to get up there with Mo Farah's achievement, certainly in terms of the noise and the atmosphere it created from the crowd. But Great Britain are in this final, the women's 4x400 relay. Here's Mike.
And a last chance to win a medal at the championships for Britain. Drawn outside in lane number 9, qualified 3rd fastest to the final, the last of the women's finals at this Olympic Games, the women's 4x400 metres. The Czech Republic are drawn on the inside in lane number 2, Nigeria in lane 3, with the finalist in the 400 metres hurdles, Joke Odumosu, among their quartet. Ukraine in lane 4 would also have an outside chance of a medal. Russia in lane 5 to be anchored by Natalia Anchuk, newly crowned Olympic 400 metres hurdles champion. The Russians in lane 5. Then Jamaica in 6 with Noveline Williams-Mills on the anchor leg. She finished in the bronze medal position in the World Championships in 2007 behind Britain's Christine Ohurugu and Nicola Sanders. Then in lane 7, a very powerful looking USA quartet, Dee Trotter, Alison Felix, who won the 200 metres final here in such glowing style, Francina McCrory on the 3rd leg, and the last leg to be run by the 400 metres Olympic champion Sanya Richards-Ross. France on the outside in lane 8, very impressive winners recently of the European Championships, and Britain in lane 9 with Shayna Cox to lead off, to Lee McConnell, Perry Shakes-Drayton and Christine Ohurugu. They come here buoyant after winning World Indoor Championship gold against Sanya Richards-Ross and her American teammates in Istanbul back in March, and 3 of the 4 are in the lineup here, with Lee McConnell in for Nicola Sanders, and a huge cheer rings around the stadium once again as the last of the British competitors, the 4x400 metres relay team for women, are introduced, and in particular the lead-off athlete Shayna Cox on the first leg.
On your mark.
Call forward to their blocks, and people have been talking here about the possibility of a world record for the American women. Remember, they did in the 4x100 metres last night, and here Trotter, Felix, McCrory and Richards-Ross could go close once again. It's 3 minutes 15.17 seconds, set by the Soviet Union as they were then back in 1988. But first and foremost, it's about the medals, and they're down on their blocks for the women's 4x400 metres relay. And they're underway then with Shayna Cox, in athletics terms, running blind on the outside because of the stagger. She has no athlete in front of her, so will have to judge her own pace. And Francina McCrory of the United States, who's on the 3rd leg, is being led by Dee Trotter, so she will have a good advantage if they manage to get the baton around. Dee Trotter for the United States has made ground on the French athlete Anna Chiassis on her outside, but Shayna Cox is managing to maintain the stagger at this stage for Britain. All important to keep hold of their form as they head down the home straight for the first time and towards the first of 3 changeovers. The United States are leading. The second favourites, Russia, are running strongly from their lane 5 start. They will complete this lap in lanes and then the first quarter of the next lap, and it's Shayna Cox to hand on to Lee McConnell now on the outside draw in lane number 9, and Britain will change over in around 5th place, and it's going to be very difficult to get into the medal positions from here, with the United States, as expected, a long way clear from Russia and then Jamaica. Catherine Merry.
Alison Felix has a 30 to 40 metre lead down the back straight, and this is an athlete with an individual 400 metre personal best of 49.5 seconds. Russia are currently in 2nd with Jamaica in 3rd, and Lee McConnell, well, she's currently in 6th place with a little bit of work to do. But Alison Felix, the smooth running of Alison Felix comes into the home straight with a good 40-50 metre lead. She checks the screen, Mike. This is dominance so far from the USA.
Yes, it is. Alison Felix, the 200 metre runner, has run a terrific second leg here. She will hand on to Francina McCrory. It's a safe changeover. Russia in second place. It will be very close for third between Jamaica and Ukraine. And now Britain are in a scramble towards the back of the field with Perry Shakes Drayton now for the other 4 places. And it's a long, long way adrift for Britain now. They're 40 metres adrift of the 4th place. And in turn, the Ukrainians are 10 metres off the bronze medal position, being held at the moment. And it's looking pretty secure for Jamaica. But the United States are leading here. And maybe we ought to start to celebrate what might be a world record run. It looks very, very quick. They're a long way clear from a very powerful Russian quartet as they come into the home straight then for the last of the changeovers. And it's McCrory for the United States who will hand on to Sanya Richards-Ross. And Perry Shakes Drayton has made gallant headway into 5th place for Britain, but they're still 30 metres outside the medal positions. The last of the changeovers then, the USA, Russia, Jamaica and Britain in 5th place.
Sanya Richards-Ross is off. The gold medal, barring accidents, is going to go to the USA in a quick time. A 60-metre gap to the Russian last leg runner, and Jamaica are currently comfortably in the 3rd bronze medal position. Christina Horugu on the final leg for Great Britain. She's currently in 5th place, being tracked by the Nigerian athlete on the final leg. But this is all about the USA. The medal's gone for Great Britain. What time are the USA going to run?
Into the home straight then, 100 metres to go for Sanya Richards-Ross and the American quartet. Russia in 2nd place, Jamaica in 3rd, and Britain are trapped in 5th place now, up towards the line. The world record is 3 minutes 15.17 seconds. They're going to be just outside. Richards-Ross dips for the line. It's gold for the United States, silver for Russia, bronze for Jamaica, and Britain come through in a distant 5th time.
3 minutes 16.88 seconds. You look down the all-time list, that is the 4th fastest time in history by that USA team. Dominant from the gun, absolutely flew round, and Great Britain and Northern Ireland, unfortunately, well, they had a bronze medal chance. We talked about it before. It wasn't meant to be here this evening. USA are crowned the gold medal winners, with Russia in 2nd, and the Jamaican team, well, they came up for the bronze medal.
So the USA ahead of Russia and Jamaica. The positions as they were at the end of the first changeover remain pretty much unchanged all the way through, and the 3 favourites have finished in the medal positions.
Thank you very much, Mike. One more race to come then at 9 o'clock, the men's sprint relay final. And we think obviously we're going to have Mo Farah's medal ceremony at some stage in the next sort of 10-15 minutes. We're looking forward to that enormously. So let's get off to the news. And we got Luke Campbell in the boxing, of course, at 8:45 too. Luke Campbell, John Joe Nevin, with Lennox Lewis, Steve Bunsen, Darren Fletcher. So let's go to the news then with Faye Rusko.
On digital radio, digital TV, mobile and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Mo Farah has won the 5,000 metres final just a week after winning the 10,000 metres. The long-distance double means he now has 2 gold medals, taking Team GB's total golds to 27. The Metropolitan Police Force has apologised for a delay in finding a body in the search for Tia Sharp. Remains were discovered at the home of the 12-year-old's grandmother, Christine Sharp. It was the 4th time officers had checked the house. Ms Sharp and her partner Stuart Hazel have been arrested on suspicion of murder. Their next-door neighbour, Paul Meehan, is suspected of assisting an offender. The MOD has released the name of a British soldier who died in Afghanistan last Thursday. Lieutenant Andrew Chesterman was shot dead while on patrol with 3rd Battalion the Rifles. He was 26. 10 Afghan policemen have been shot dead by a colleague. He died when other officers returned fire. He's thought to have had links with Taliban militants. And the winners of Britain's second biggest lottery jackpot has come forward to claim their prize. Their tickets were nearly £149 million. The largest prize was £161 million in July 2011. A quick look at the roads in Essex. The M25 clockwise is shut between junction 27 at the M11 and junction 28 at the Brook Street roundabout. Several vehicles involved in an accident. Reports that one of them is on fire. Traffic approaching the closure at junction 27 is moving OK, but there is some trapped traffic behind the scene of the accident. And in Dunston in the West Midlands, the A449 southbound is blocked by an accident between the M6 at junction 13 at Stafford South and Swan Lane. Police are directing traffic there. Faye Rusko, 5 Live Travel.
Peterson waits. Morkel on his way again. Over the wicket. Bowles hit on the pad. And there's a Peel leg before wicket. And he's out. Second ball. A finger raised. It looked out from here. And that's remarkable.
England face South Africa. The third test
starts Thursday from 10:45
on 5 Live Sports Extra. 5 Live sister service available exclusively digitally.
And goodness me, this is one of those moments in cricket when you know you're seeing something, the like of which you may never see again. It's quite extraordinary.
To find out how to receive 5 Live Sports Extra, click bbc.co.uk/5 Live.
We've got it all for you in the next 25 minutes. We've got Luke Campbell, we've got Mo Farah's medal ceremony, we've got the sprint relay, and we've got Vassos Alexander, Tom Daley in the diving.
Yep, he's about to take his first dive of 6. The scores from the semi-finals have been scratched. He was 4th best in qualifying for this final. We're currently watching the Russian diver Viktor Minibayev at the top of the diving board. Tom Daley will be in 2 divers' time. The 18-year-old, the youngest man in the field, and the plan is, Karen Pickering, to start with a difficult dive, a dive that he hasn't got right in this individual competition yet. He hasn't quite nailed it. Put the pressure on the Chinese following him.
The good news, he's got better each time. So he started off, it was a bit average. This morning it was much better in the semi-final. So it's definitely going in the right direction. But it's right. He starts off with one of his higher tariff dives, more difficult dives, to try and get the points up to put the pressure on. So in the first rounds, you can't really tell by the points because some of the divers choose to start off with something easy, and the degree of difficulty which their scores are multiplied by, obviously that can give a little bit of illusion of that the dive was maybe better or worse than it is compared to someone else. So you kind of have to let things unfold for a few rounds, but we'll certainly be able to compare to what Tom did in the semi-finals because he's diving the same 6 dives in the same order.
What will he have done between the semi-final and the final? Because I guess that's key.
Yeah, I mean, he'd relax. He'd need to recover. He would relax.
Will he sleep?
Sometimes you might not. It's one of those things. If you feel the need to sleep, it's not a problem. He had plenty of time to then sort of wake yourself up again. Some people prefer not to. They want to stay awake, but some athletes are quite capable of having a sleep and being able to then wake yourself up again for it. He would have gone through everything with his coach, gone through the things that were right, were wrong, what they were going to do tonight. I'm sure he would have spent some time with his mentor, Leon Taylor, who would have helped him mentally prepare and talk him through what he's about to go through tonight.
Actually, funnily enough, he didn't spend as much time with Leon as Leon would have liked, because Alexei Evangulov, the performance director of British Diving, in Leon's words, runs a pretty tight ship. And Leon couldn't get close to Tom Daley, but I know he has spent some time with Andy Banks, his personal coach, and here he is, Tom Daley, about to go with his first dive in the final of the men's 10-metre platform. It's a back dive with 2.5 somersaults in the pike position, which means the knees locked straight but a tight bend at the wrist. He will take off facing backwards with his back to water and rotate backwards. He will also add 2.5 twists before he starts with the piked somersaults. And there's the first dive, and he just came out of the pike position a little early, Karen.
Yeah, it looked like the twist, as he had in the heats, he continued the twist a little bit, went a little bit further than he wanted, just didn't quite get out of it, and you see the rotation just carries on a bit as he goes into the entry into the water, and that just took him a little bit off balance there.
What you want is 6 scores in the 80s and 90s, and his marks are in 7s across the board. The highest 2 and lowest 2 scores are discarded, leaving the middle 3, which you times by the degree of difficulty, which in this case was 3.6. Tom Daley, 75.6. He is lying 8th of the 9 divers, Mark, who have dived so far. Not a great start.
Thank you very much for that. We're going to keep a close eye on it, of course, with you, Vassos. So, Steve Backley, we're all getting our breath back, aren't we? But the javelin and the high jump bring us all up to date with what's going on.
Yeah, they're both done. The high jump, first of all, it was victory for Anna Chicharova, the world champion from Daegu 1 year ago. 30 years old, is now the Olympic champion. Lovely quote from her pre the event. Motherhood changed me greatly, she said, with the birth of her daughter, and gained confidence and a fighting spirit. 2 metres and 5 centimetres on her second attempt. Great performance ahead of Brigitte Barrett of the United States and Svetlana Skulina of Russia, who took the bronze. The men's javelin at the other end of this Olympic stadium. was a surprise winner, 19-year-old Kashawn Walcott of, wait for it, Trinidad and Tobago. Never before have Trinidad and Tobago won a medal outside of sprinting. Only once have they won a gold medal, Hazley Crawford in the 100 metres. Trinidad and Tobago win the men's javelin. Kashawn Walcott, a junior champion, he's still only 19 years old, through 84 metres and 58 centimetres, only 11 centimetres shy of the world junior record. Early in the competition, everyone else struggled with the wind, and he's walked away with the gold medal. Great performance.
What an evening for him as well. Back to Vassos, a re-dive.
Well, that's what Tom Daley wants. There's been an official protest. I think some flashlights, Karen Pickering, basically put him off at the moment that he took off, and I think his protest has been successful. Tom Daley is climbing the stairs again, all the way up the stairs to the 10-metre platform. He complained to the officials, so did his coach Andy Banks. As soon as he got out of the water, he made a sign with his hand, like they were like an open palm, like flashlights going off just as he took off. And at the moment of takeoff, two critical aspects of the dive are determined and then can't be changed: the trajectory and how much angular momentum you have. And especially in a twisting dive, that is absolutely key. So it looks like, Karen, he's going to have another go.
Yeah, he certainly didn't look happy. As soon as he climbed out of the water, he was making the gesture. His coach went to see the official and made an appeal. But obviously that's not the kind of start you like. It's disruptive. He would want to be relaxed. Obviously, he's happy to get a chance to re-dive because that wasn't as perfect as he would like. But that's not an ideal situation for a diver to be in when you need to be calm. So now he's going to have to collect himself. He's going to have to refocus. He's going to have to redo the dive he just did.
A message has gone out over the public address system: no flash photography, please. And I think he would rather have another go than have a score at 75.6, which might well have already ruled him out as far as the medals are concerned. So silence once again descends in the aquatic centre, and Tom Daley walks to the edge of the 10-metre platform and turns around and shuffles backwards, and his heels just stick out from the edge of the board. And now he's ready to dive again, and there are the twists, and there are the pike somersaults, and there are the cheers for Tom Daley. That's more like it.
Well, that was the entry. That was a perfect entry there from Tom Daley, and what a tremendous way to come back. He gathered himself, he refocused, he counted under his breath, and he nailed that dive. That was so much better than the first time round. Well done, Tom.
8.5 scored across the board, 91.8. That is more like it. That puts the pressure on Mark. He's back in the game, Tom Daley.
Wow, a re-dive. Well, we have faulty starts here in the track, so why not a re-dive? I've just seen Darren Campbell. I've just seen something that's made me roar with laughter. Usain Bolt in the warm-up track, pretending to be a batsman, because he used to be a fast bowler, didn't he? Pretending to be a batsman, and he did that thing the batsmen do when they edge it to the wicket-keeper and they sort of get squared up and then look behind them to see if it's been caught. I don't know who was pretending to bowl.
That's what I was going to say.
I couldn't see. Maybe Johan Blake, because he used to be a fast bowler as well.
Was there any Americans around?
No,
he's doing the Mobot. He's doing the
Mobot. He knows the camera is there, doesn't he, Usain?
Look.
He's now high-fiving somebody that we can't see. Now he's pretending to do the
because he can
sit-up.
see him through that glass door that he's looking through is where the medal ceremony is. So he'll actually be doing that to Mo.
He's doing it to Mo Farah. Oh, fantastic. That's sensational, Usain Bolt. Well done.
And it goes back to what we were saying earlier. Mo Farah is now a global international superstar.
Yeah. And interestingly, they're managed in terms of their racing careers by Ricky Sims, and he told me earlier in the year that they're very, very similar. They've got this ready smile with people. They'll sign autographs for anybody. Nothing is too much for them. They love doing what they do, and that courses through their veins. Nothing is ever too much for them when they're anywhere near competition.
I know that the email I just got from my wife is mirrored up and down the country. There was in our village we live in, there was a big village walk round the village to celebrate the Olympics, and she said the roar in the pub when Mo Farah won was like nothing they've ever heard before. Right, we've got it all coming up now. We've got the boxing too. Luke Campbell going for bantamweight gold. Darren Fletcher.
Yes, he is, Mark. We're about to get the announcement first of the flyweight victory. which we think is going to go to Shiming Zhu from China, the top seed, and then this place will literally erupt because Luke Campbell will walk to the ring representing Great Britain, and John Joe Nevin from Mullingar will walk to the ring representing Ireland. It's been a fantastic game so far for the respective teams. The Irish have got 6 boxers here and 4 of them will medal. Great Britain are going to get 5 medals for sure, and there's the possibility that they could leave with 4 golds. There's confirmation that Shiming Zhu has won at flyweight, and it's almost time then, Bunsey, for Luke Campbell to step through the ropes, come into this arena. Not a lot phases him, but this is the biggest night of his life.
Not a lot phases him, but he comes in, he's very calm, he's very quiet looking, he's very controlled, in direct contrast to the ebullient Nevin, the confident Nevin, the man we've seen bounce to the ring against the odds, not once, not twice, but 3 times by my calculations in this tournament. 3 times Nevin should have been having his last fight, according to the odds makers, according to the experts. 3 times they've been wrong. Will it be 4?
I know that you've seen both boxers, Lennox, during the course of this tournament, and Nevin has impressed you more than Campbell.
Well, he has. His feet work has really impressed me. If he can use that feet work and get in on Campbell, because Campbell's very hard to hit and he's very awkward, he's long. I know they've fought before, but it's still always a difficult fight, especially when they're boxing for the gold medal. A lot can come out of both fighters, so it should be an interesting fight.
Quite an atmosphere in here. Shiming Zhu has been awarded the gold medal, the Chinese boxer. He's leaving the arena with the Chinese flag flying behind him. But Pong Rayun from Thailand was the big crowd favourite. 1 or 2 things went against him with the scoring, and the crowd certainly letting their feelings known to the judges. And he was heartbroken, wasn't he, when he left the ring, the young man from Thailand?
He was heartbroken. You can see there, that's his Cuban coach lifting his hand down there. They're fiery, the Cubans, if they feel they're on the wrong end of a decision. Lennox mentioned the fact that these 2 guys have met, and you know what? A cigarette paper, or even a cigarette paper, has divided them on both occasions, Fletch.
Well, Great Britain haven't had a bantamweight gold medalist since 1908. Henry Thomas was the last man to win bantamweight gold for Great Britain. Wayne McCulloch won silver at bantamweight for Ireland in Barcelona in 1992. Michael Carruth is the only Irish male to win a gold medal in the boxing ring. Of course, Katie Taylor has done that here for them already. John Joe Nevin and Luke Campbell are about to come in. We've had some atmospheres, Bunsey. Tonight, I think, might just top it.
Yeah, we thought that Katie Taylor was about as good as it gets. Well, I'm expecting better tonight. And you know what? Tomorrow night, when we get Joshua, I'm expecting better than tonight.
They've got the men's 4x100 metre relay to come. Usain Bolt going for 3 gold medals at the London Games. But it's all about Luke Campbell going for gold for Great Britain before that big race, which Mike Costello will bring you live on 5 Live. Of course, they're about to come in the ring. We can see the Irish tricolours around the arena. Not as many tonight as there was for Katie Taylor, but lots and lots of Union flags in here.
Lots of Union flags, although I've got to tell you, out in the bars, out in the boulevards, out in the toilets, it's 50-50 Irish. Interesting that Nevin has said the fans here have treated him like he's fighting at home. Then he said the British boxers have been our neighbours. They've given us a big boost.
Lennox, take us back to 1988, just before you walked out in the arena to fight for super heavyweight gold. What was going through your mind? What's going to be going through Campbell's mind now?
Well, Campbell's going to be focused. He's going to realize that he's on his way. All he has to do is go over this last hurdle and just do it. Just really go in there and give it his all, because that's what I was feeling. I was feeling that, yo, I have to go in there and sacrifice everything, man. If I leave the ring with any ounce of energy, that means I've never given it my all. So I really wanted to do that.
The first man the crowd see is the 23-year-old from Mullingar, the man wearing the red vest with a big beaming smile on his face, John Joe Nevin, who suffered a broken jaw in the build-up to the Olympic Games. He had a draw where everybody wrote him off. He had to beat the world #1 to get here. Maybe he's a man of destiny. Here comes Luke Campbell with that usual impassive look on his face. His coach Dave Alloway to his left, the blue vest, and Luke Campbell hears the roar for the first time. And if the hairs aren't standing up on the back of his neck right now, Bunsey, they never will.
He took a gulp there as though he was sucking in the atmosphere. There was just that moment, it was a momentary pause, only a fragment. And he was just for 1 second, you saw him look up, and I tell you what, he's only human, Fletch, he's only a boy.
Break it down for me. Tactically, what's going to decide this fight?
Well, the 2 of them are going to cancel each other out like they've done. I just fancy that Nevin may be a little bit sharper. I can see Luke coming on strong in the last round. I can see it being tight again. I wouldn't even rule out a count back, Fletch. I wouldn't rule that out.
Well, Luke Campbell's a southpaw from the St Paul's ABC Club in Hull. He's 24 years old and he steps to the ropes and puts on that blue headguard. In 9 minutes or so time, he might be an Olympic champion.
He might very well be an Olympic champion. In 88 years and 19 Olympics, only 5 British men have won gold medals. Will he be the 6th?
He's had good luck messages from Hull City, Hull FC and Hull KR. Everybody's sitting by their radios in Hull listening to this bout, because if they can get a gold medalist, and his name is Luke Campbell, I'm pretty sure it won't be too long before he gets the freedom of the city. John Joe Nevin announced to the crowd, and certainly not the large Irish contingent in here tonight that we've seen. Listen to the roar for Luke Campbell. We speculated it might be 50-50. It's nowhere near. It's the GB crowd.
It's not even close. The boys, the girls, the women, the men, the old women, the old men have come out tonight for Luke Campbell. We're seeing history down here in this bear pit, our bear pit at the XL, Fletch.
The finals start here from a GP perspective. Nicola Adams has gold already. Anthony Joshua and Fred Evans will fight for gold tomorrow. Now it's the bantamweights. It's the world number 2, Luke Campbell in blue, against the man seeded 5 here, John Joe Nevin from Mullingar. Great Britain versus Ireland for bantamweight gold in London. And both of the fighters bouncing up and down in centre ring. Flicking out the jab is Campbell. Lets the right hand go, but didn't land with it. From this southpaw stance, Campbell is slightly taller than Nevin. You can see that straight away. Campbell lands the first punch of the fight. Nevin just poking out that left lead and trying to disrupt the rhythm of Campbell, who comes in again and spears the Irishman with that lead right jab.
Yeah, and he knows exactly what he's doing, Nevin, there, as Lennox is pointing out. He's treading on Luke's lead foot. That stops Luke from moving. And in that moment he's stuck. He can catch him with a right hand. It's a basic, but at the same time, clever trick.
Luke Campbell was inspired to go for gold as an Olympian by watching Audley Harrison win gold in Sydney in 2000. And here he is in the first round of this bantamweight gold medal match against John Joe Nevin. Campbell backing off. Nevin stalks him with the red vest on and the red headguard and lands a decent combination, and then Campbell ties him up. What we have seen from Campbell all the way through the competition, he's a wily campaigner, knows when to grab and hold.
He knows when to grab and hold. He can work inside despite his long arms, and he can also work best from the back foot. They know each other so well, Fletch, you can see that.
Nevin has been relaxed right the way through the competition, and he looks quite relaxed in this bout as well. Campbell maybe slightly edgier, but maybe landing the slightly better shots early on.
Yeah, there's not a lot in it, and this could be decided on one fight. At the moment, they're mirror images of each other in intensity.
They are. Forward comes Nevin, stalking Campbell, who's happy to box on the back foot, happy to try and counter-punch, and then when he gets too close, Nevin, Campbell just wraps him up. We've got 1 minute and 30 seconds to go in the first round on 5 Live, and the men's 4x100 relay to come. Campbell comes forward, lands a decent right jab from this southpaw stance that he favours, and then moves to his right, then back to his left along the ropes. Campbell in blue, Nevin in red. Great Britain versus Ireland for bantamweight gold. Good right jab by Campbell, who's been quite accurate with that punch in the early stage of the fight. We are still waiting to see the best of Campbell in this Olympic boxing tournament. If he can do that tonight, he might well get a gold medal. Both of them wrestling now in centre ring with just over 1 minute of the first round to go. Good shots by Campbell, the 2 best punches of the fight.
The 2 cleanest punches of the fight, and you know what, it will take the best performance from both of them. We've already seen it from Nevin, he needs to repeat it.
Nevin starts to unload though as Campbell is backed onto the ropes. That's a good response for the Irishman, who's then made to pay by an accurate jab by Campbell as he came in. They're both warming to the task. Good work again by John Joe Nevin. Campbell had his back to the ropes and couldn't escape, and was made to pay with a 3 or 4 punch combination. Good punches though from Campbell. They both look relaxed, they're both letting the punches go, and they're both landing here. Good work by Campbell again, boxing on the retreat.
Yeah, that straight left cross is working a treat. It's going straight down the middle there of Nevin's goal, but Nevin's counting not once but twice when he's caught. He's doing a Katie Taylor here this evening.
Campbell won silver at the World Championships in 2011. Lost in the final to the number 1 seed Lazaro Alvarez from Cuba, the man who Nevin beat impressively in the semi-final. Final 10 seconds of the first round. That's been cagey, it's been tactical, and mainly it's been boxed on the outside. We'll get the decision of the judges on this one any moment now. Let's have a look at it. Which way has it gone? It's gone to Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell 5, John Joe Nevin 3. I think he just about deserves that, Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, he does deserve that. You know, Luke Campbell is looking a lot sharper than I've seen him before. This is actually, he feels very comfortable in this fight. He hasn't done anything wrong, and he's looking good. He deserves those points.
I thought that those 2 or 3 flurries from Nevin. The fast flow is on the rope, in fact almost in his own corner. I thought they were going to be influential, but you know what, there's 5 judges at ringside. They miss it, it doesn't count.
Yeah, but you have to remember, Nevin isn't boxing like he usually boxes. He's not moving around. He's really just not really doing as much as he should be.
But that's because Campbell's making him move.
Right.
Let's be honest, we've not seen Campbell settle this quickly into a bout in the Olympic Games. He's usually been a slow starter, but he's come out relaxed, the arms look nice and fluid, and the punches are accurate.
And he's got better of each fight. He has got better of each fight. He's found his pace, he's found his range of each fight, and he's peaked at the right time. That's what it's about. Ask Usain Bolt.
John Joe Nevin fought in Beijing. He thought about turning pro after that, but he's hung around for 4 more years to try and win a gold medal, but he's down by 2 points at the end of round 1. That's been won by Luke Campbell by a score of 5 points to 3. And Campbell comes out with accurate shots to start the second round as well. Cuffing left hook from Nevin on the side of Campbell's blue head guard. Remember, Campbell blue, Nevin red. The taller, leaner figure is Luke Campbell from Hull, the 24-year-old. Campbell comes forward and catches Nevin on the way in. The speedier punches, the more accurate shots, the slightly longer reach belongs to Campbell, and Nevin's finding it hard to get inside that longer reach, and he's being picked off here at the start of round 2. Campbell looking really, really good.
Campbell blocking almost every single one of those shots, and knowing he doesn't need to fire back when Nevin's letting the punches go. He can take a step back and then pick it up with jabs and drop over the big left.
For 4 minutes, it's been an extremely polished performance by Luke Campbell of Hull. Fighting for Great Britain here at bantamweight. Nevin can't get close enough to him. Campbell, in actual fact, is doing to Nevin what Nevin did to Alvarez in the semi-final, keeping him at range, growing in confidence, and then just peppering him with accurate shots, particularly that southpaw right jab.
And there's just something you can see in the way Campbell's moving, the way Campbell's gliding, the way Campbell's punching. He's enjoying it. This is his final, his moment.
Minute and 45 seconds of the second round to go, and Luke Campbell in the main has landed the better punches here, leading by 5 points to 3. After 1 round. Great Britain haven't had 2 gold medals in an Olympic Games since Melbourne in 1956. Nicola Adams has 1. They can equal that feat if Luke Campbell can keep this performance going. Campbell catches Nevin again. Nevin standing in centre ring, looking slightly confused at times because Campbell is such a good defensive fighter.
I'm slightly surprised that Nevin looks confused. Why is he confused? He's done loads of rounds with him. He's sparred with him. They know him inside out. They've studied him all night. Campbell's just denying him any space.
Well, Nevin needs to move his head a lot more because he needs to remember that he's a shorter guy. So he has to try to get inside or get Campbell against the ropes.
Well, Lennox was making that point. A really good sharp left hook from Nevin, thudded into the side of Campbell's head guard. It's one of the better punches the Irishman has managed to land, and then he catches Campbell with a lead right as well. Campbell, though, as he does, is then keen to tie up Nevin and deny that momentum can be maintained. Good punches by Campbell after they get back to work in centre ring. Campbell standing on his toes, bouncing up and down, happy to box on the counter. 45 seconds to go. Campbell, the chant inside Excel, which has been a cacophony of noise right the way through this Olympic boxing tournament. Fighting here for gold at bantamweight, and Luke Campbell's doing really well. Campbell, the aggressor in this particular attack. Falls short with a jab, and he's caught by a good right hand by Nevin as he came in with 25 seconds to go. Nevin is just showing signs that he's working Campbell out of it, and he's getting a bit closer.
And he's celebrating by punching the air for the crowd here. He is seeming to counter all the time with that right.
Really good shot that by Nevin, which rocked back the blue head guard of Campbell. He's finishing the second round strongly. Campbell then a bit ragged with some of the punches he's throwing. Into the final 10 seconds. The judges' scores are what matter in amateur boxing, and we're going to get those scores very soon. Campbell 5-3 up after the first round. He's now 9-8 up, so Nevin has reduced the arrears. We've got a quick break between rounds here, so let's get an update from the diving. Tom Daly in action. Vassos.
He's had 2 of his 6 dives, Darren. So far, so good. He seems to be bringing his A game to the Olympic final. He was 3rd ahead of both Chinese divers after the first round of 6. He's now dropped to 5th, but that's okay because he's just had his easiest dive, the one with the smallest degree of difficulty, so he'd expect a smaller score for that. The important thing is he executed, as they say in diving. He's 5th with 4 dives to go.
Thanks, Vassos. 4x100 metres for men to come from the Olympic Stadium with Mike Costello and the team. He's got to pull out the big round here, Campbell. Lennox, it's tight on the cards now.
Let me tell you, it's going to be a big 3rd round. I think Luke Campbell has to keep Nevin far because I know Nevin's going to be coming.
The bell tolls for both men, one of them 3 minutes away from Olympic glory. Is it going to be a Great Britain gold or an Irish gold? Luke Campbell leads by 9 points to 8, but John Joe Nevin is growing in confidence and has the momentum at this stage of the bout, despite a very good start by Luke Campbell, who's got to get back to doing what he was doing in the first round and picking Nevin off from range. That's a really good shot that landed flush on the jaw of John Joe Nevin from Luke Campbell. And then the Irishman's off balance, but Nevin manages to evade those lunges from Campbell, who wasn't able to make him pay. 2 minutes and 28 seconds of the bantamweight gold medal bout to go. Nevin lands a decent combination, and then Campbell misses him with the left hand on the retreat.
In the second round there, what Nevin managed to do was make Luke take the initiative. As soon as Luke started coming forward, that was when Nevin took over, and he's actually throwing a Hercules punch where his legs come off the ground and he throws a right hand. It's from the cartoon world of Disney. Fletch, we are seeing bizarre things this evening.
Luke Campbell just told to go back to his corner. He's got a slight problem, I think, with his protective cup. We've seen the shorts and the protective cup be a problem right the way through this Olympic Games tournament. Didn't take too long for the Great Britain coach to tighten things up again, and they'll get back to work with just over 2 minutes of the final round to go. Good punches by Campbell, a left and a right, then a really good long left that caught Nevin flush. Forward comes the Irishman. His punch lands on the glove of Luke Campbell, who skates away to his left inside the ring into a neutral corner and then fights off the ropes and lands a decent punch of his own. Minute and 55 to go. Good work by Campbell. That little 3 or 4 punch salvo is sure to impress the judges, and then he gets back to more accurate work and jolts Nevin back with a decent shot.
We knew it was a fight that could be decided by fractions of a second, just the tiniest piece of leather. That was all it was going to take. One clean tiny tap with that leather glove, and that could change the fight.
This is a really good minute in the fight for Campbell, who lands a massive shot, and down goes Nevin. Brilliant punch. The Irishman flat on his back on the canvas, quickly to his feet. He'll take the standing 8 count. What a punch from Luke Campbell.
What a shot. He looked for him, he found him. It's the counter he's been working on. He missed it in the second, and he caught it in the third perfectly.
That might be a gold medal punch. He's a minute and 15 seconds away, and if you thought it was noisy before, listen to it in here now. Luke Campbell is giving himself a great chance for gold. Led on the judges' scores after 2 rounds, and he's had Nevin down in the third. Forward comes Campbell. Nevin knows now he's got to fire everything he's got. He can't leave anything behind in the ring. He needs a gigantic final minute, otherwise he'll have to settle for silver.
Yeah, that sends a warning to the judges, but it is not, as I keep telling you, it's not a natural point, but it does send a warning, and more than that, it shows the crowd, it gets the crowd going.
Campbell being sensible, tying up Nevin because he was locked in a neutral corner, and Nevin was starting to let the punches flow. It is a tactic in amateur boxing. If you can tie up the opposition, they cannot score with decent punches. Back to work they go, and Campbell, the aggressor, lands a good shot, then darts away to safety. Boxing at range. Campbell, the try inside the XL with 30 seconds of the bantamweight final to go. He can almost feel that gold medal around his neck, the man from Hull. Hits him, Nevin with another good shot, and then backs off to the ropes, and then ties Nevin up. Sensible boxing this from Luke
Sensible
Campbell.
boxing. The second counter there was perfect, and he's tying him up when he's close. He's not leaving any space. He's not making any mistakes. This is the 30-second end.
15 seconds to go. The Union flags prepare to fly in XL. Great Britain on the verge of a second gold medal in the boxing ring. It's the biggest night of Luke Campbell's life, and hasn't he performed superbly well? Into the final couple of seconds. The final bell tolls. Luke Campbell is the Olympic bantamweight champion. XL salutes a gold medal for Great Britain. Luke Campbell was simply brilliant.
He was. He kept everything intact. He boxed good from distance, and he never took any chances, and that was a great punch. Although Nevin was square to him because Nevin was trying to actually dodge a punch, but he got caught with the punch, and he never had his feet under him, and he went down, and that's what happens if you don't stay to the side and have your balance behind you.
Luke Campbell very rarely betrays any emotion in the boxing ring, but I'm sure I sensed a smile on the face of the man from Hull. John Joe Nevin knows. Body language tells you an awful lot, and he knows he's lost a bout.
Yeah, for the first time we've seen Luke look relaxed. The last 20 seconds of that, the last 30 was a perfect run, and he looks relaxed, he looks calm. Look at him there on the big screen. Fletch, he knows he's pulled it off.
Yes, he does. He's going to be the second gold medalist for Great Britain in the boxing ring. The first time a GB team has managed to achieve that since 1956, when Dick McTaggart and Terry Spinks won gold in Melbourne in Australia. All it needs now is the formality of the announcement from the ringside announcer. Here we go.
The winner by a score of 14 points to 11, and Olympic champion in the blue corner.
The roar says it all. Luke Campbell, sensational. Spare a thought for John Joe Nevin, who did so well to get this far, but it's a second gold medal in the boxing ring for Great Britain, and Luke Campbell from Hull has achieved his lifetime dream. He is the Olympic champion. Back here for Excel later for the gold medal presentation, but it's time for the men's 4x100 metres with Mike Costello.
And will we finish here at London 2012 in the main stadium with a moment to savour? Jamaica, drawn in lane number 6 here, have set the 3 fastest times in history at the last 3 global championships, going all the way back to Beijing in 2008, when Usain Bolt and Asafa Powell finished off the race in an Olympic record now, was a world record then, 37.10 seconds. The quartet that the Jamaicans have here, minus Asafa Powell, who's injured, Nesta Carter, Michael Frater, Johan Blake and Usain Bolt on the anchor leg, broke the world record in winning gold at the World Championships in Daegu last year. They're drawn here in lane 6. In lane 7, the United States, with Trell Kimmons on the lead-off leg to Justin Gatlin, who took bronze in the individual 100 metres, Tyson Gay and then Ryan Bailey on the anchor leg. The powerhouses drawn alongside each other in lanes 6 and 7. Darren Campbell, the quartet for Jamaica, anchored by Usain Bolt. He ran the 3rd leg in Beijing. What do you make of their lineup this time?
Yeah, listen, they've definitely tried to get the fire which they're going to need. They basically, with Blake being on the 3rd leg, it's important that he challenges the Americans. I've just got this feeling that the Americans are coming here ready. They want this title. They've practiced. They were in Monaco. Their A and B team was very impressive. But is Bolt going to finish off what he started? He's got 2 of the golds. This will be the final goal. This is the race we've been waiting for.
Do you see the way it shapes up if they get fairly safe changeovers? Gatlin's on the 2nd leg for the United States. Tyson Gay's on the 3rd leg. Bolt, if they run to form, will have a deficit to make up against Ryan Bailey on the anchor
That's
leg.
the plan. That's the plan, Mike. That's the only way they can win it. The Americans have to, I think, 3-metre, 4-metre lead.
The stadium agog once again then for the last event of the athletics programme at London 2012, and the full lineup from the inside as they're called forward to their blocks. Australia go in lane number 2, France in 3 with Christophe Lemaitre on the back straight leg over on the far side of the stadium. Japan drawn in lane 4, Canada in 5, Jamaica in 6 with Bolt on the anchor leg, the USA in 7, Netherlands in 8 and Trinidad and Tobago on the outside in lane 9. The show closer, it's the men's 4x100 metres relay at London 2012. Tension builds as the starter makes them wait. And away they go then, Jamaica against the USA, and on the lead-off leg it's Nesta Carter against Trell Kimmons. On to the back straight they go then towards the first of the changeovers. Jamaica in lane 5. And it's Nesta Carter hanging on to Michael Frater now as they head down the back straight towards the second of the changes, and the United States look to have a very narrow lead, but it's very close between the 2 big nations now, the United States and Jamaica, and Johan Blake has scorched around the top end and hands on to Usain Bolt. It's Bolt against Bailey and it's a mismatch. Bolt goes on by 2 metres, by 3 metres. Bolt is going clear. 36.85 seconds. It's another world record. They've taken nearly 0.2 of a second off the mark they set in winning World Championship gold in Daegu last year. And Usain Bolt leaves London 2012 with a spectacular send-off. 3 gold medals for Usain Bolt for the 2nd games in a row. Legend indeed.
Mike, we said it. The only way the Americans could win this race was by having a lead. But Johan Blake said, no way, we're not giving you the lead. And as they give the baton across in the final changeover, it was neck and neck. It was Bolt versus Bailey. And as you said, it was a mismatch. A total mismatch. It was 1 metre, Bolt went away. Then it was 2 metres. Then it was 3 metres. New world record, 36.8 8-4.
Been rounded down, and the Americans have run their fastest ever time, 37.04 seconds. Take away the Jamaicans and it's a world record. That's the quality of the last event here of an unforgettable 9 days of athletics, and it finishes with a world record brought home by the legend that is Usain Bolt.
And the Jamaicans still on their lap of honour. The only thing they haven't got with them, Darren, is the baton, which they wanted to take with them, but the official took it off them because you have to have it taken off you. You can't do your lap of honour with the baton. But there's Usain Bolt away to our left. Wow. What about that, Darren? And particularly, you picked it out beforehand, Blake making mincemeat of Tyson Gay.
Yeah, it seemed like that. That's where it was going to be won or lost. If Blake was able to keep hold of that stagger, and he did better than that, because in fairness, going into the second changeover, I would say that the Americans had a slight lead, and Blake just totally took the lead back. And if it wasn't that the changeover between Blake and Bolt was so sloppy, they would have had the lead anyway. It was almost like Bolt waited for Bailey and said, OK, let's run the first 10 metres together.
Let's have a little race.
Yeah. And then he just, it was unbelievable. He just pulled away and kept going away and further away. And Maurice Green had said to me today that he felt Bailey's top speed could match Usain's Bolt. Match Bolt's top speed, especially because they would already be moving, and also we felt that Bailey would have a lead. It looked like it wouldn't have mattered if he'd have had 4 metre lead. Bolt wasn't messing about at all, and new world record. It says it all.
Back here in a second. How's Tom Daley getting on? Vassos Alexander.
Do you know what, Mark? He is diving well tonight, and he says he doesn't care about what anyone else does, and that's how you've got to be on the top of that diving board. You've just got to execute your 6 dives. He is halfway through them, Karen Pickering, and we couldn't ask for more.
No, absolutely fantastic start from Tom Daley, and at the halfway point looking exceptionally good, very calm. And after that, having to have that redive and appeal and redive when you think you'd be a bit flustered, cause a few problems, absolutely in control. And a couple of the other divers starting to have a wobble. The pressure is getting to them. We saw the German diver Martin Wolfram right before Tom Daley just missed his dive. So it is starting to get tense out there.
Yeah, it's all about who misses dives. Tom Daley has not missed one yet. We are halfway through this individual 10-metre platform final. Tom Daley lies in 4th position. His big dive, the dive that will win him or not a medal, comes next. It's his front 4.5. It's his most difficult dive. It is key.
Vassos, we're going to be right across it with you. Victory ceremony for Mo Farah, I think, is probably on the way in a second. Mike, we should... No, not... That's going to be when,
men's
Mike?
Javelin ceremony.
Men's javelin, sorry about that. Just to tell everybody that Canada crossed the line 3rd, but they were disqualified in that sprint relay.
Yes, they were, and we think it was for a lane infringement, one of the athletes running outside their lane, and that means that Trinidad and Tobago, who Steve was talking about celebrating victory in the men's javelin unusually, back to more familiar ground. They've taken the bronze medal in the sprint relay.
And we have seen, Darren, world records in both sprint relays.
Well, I think Jessica Ennis set the trend and gave us the information that we needed with regards to how fast this track was. I think from that moment we knew we were going to get lightning times, especially in the sprints, and it's been proven right. Just unbelievable. You know, when you think the women's 4x100 metre record yesterday, how long that record had stood, and the changeovers, the quality of the changeovers. The flip side then, we fast forward to this evening where it was more about just the good old raw speed. The Americans, in fairness, the changeovers were fantastic, but it was all about
the old world record. They weren't slow coaches.
It was all about Blake. They knew that. We saw them compete in Monaco, and we knew that they'd been practicing, because I've never seen an American team change the baton so sweetly. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And Johan Blake, listen, it's Bolt that's going to get all the plaudits, but it was Blake who put them in contention. That 3rd leg, out of this world.
And we've seen bookends in a way, Mark, because the athletics programme began on Friday morning of last week with the 100 metres hurdles in the heptathlon. Jessica Ennis, who ran in effect a world record within a heptathlon in the 100 metres hurdles, and here the last event of the games, another world record. So it's been spectacular sport, unforgettable.
Bolt did something that we should not encourage young boys and girls to do in the relay, Darren, didn't he? He switched hands. He got the baton in his left hand and moved it to his right.
Listen, you can kind of do it when you're last leg because you don't have to pass it on. It's not advised because...
Well, you might drop. You might knock yourself and drop it.
It's not advised because you might drop it. Look, it's Usain Bolt.
I know.
You know what it is? I know you are. It's one of them where you go, who am I to tell Usain Bolt what he should do and what he shouldn't do?
I want you to go in there. First question press conference. Usain,
why?
You broke the golden rule of relay running. You changed hands.
It's a disgusting habit, and we don't want the young children.
They're all going to copy you. It's like when wingers in rugby run with the ball under their arm.
Yes.
You know, get knocked out, run with the ball in 2 hands.
Yeah, it's like the
splash.
Yeah, the splash. Yeah. There you go. It just shouldn't be done, but it's beautiful when we see it.
Kath, we've said this before with the velodrome and the pool and the track. They're all quick, and that's absolutely fine. Make them quick because you get top-class sport, you get world records, you get memories to last a lifetime.
Exactly. These facilities here in London were built for proper big-time Olympic performances, not for training purposes. Therefore, they're built to the specification to make them extremely fast. And wasn't it fitting, though, that the timetable had been changed, so the last event is now the men's 4x100 metre relay, not traditionally the 4x400 metre relay, so Usain Bolt could come and do something special. It's like it was just written in the stars, wasn't it? It was just going to happen tonight, but that was simply breathtaking.
So we've had a treble from Bolt, and don't forget that's a double treble because he did it, of course, in Beijing as well. We've had a double from Mo Farah. We've had a world record from David Rudisha, which Seb Coe said was arguably the performance of the Games, Mike. We've obviously had Jessica Ennis and Greg Rutherford's gold medals as well. We've just had a succession of stellar performances.
Yes, and all of them, I don't know, given something extra, a new dimension by the crowd here for every performance. And yes, okay, there were extra decibels for the British performances, but they've been so supportive of just about everything that they've watched here. 80,000 every morning, 80,000 every evening. It's been the most special competition, and you could argue with historians, I'm sure, about what's been the best athletics program at the Olympics in history, but this must be very, very close. When you take into account all of the factors and how important the crowd are, this must go very, very close to being the best celebration of athletics in Olympic history.
Steve, what do you make of it? All the championships, the major championships, you competed in all of them. Where do you instinctively rate this from what we've seen? And as we said, it's far beyond a British point of view, this.
Yeah, I think, we're taking a wider context. It's very hard, of course, to take that out of the equation and take a back seat and try and be impartial. But, I mean, the only Olympic Games and the Olympic Games prior to this one that everyone raved about was, of course, Sydney, where they got everything right. The crowds were great, the transport was great, the food was great, everyone was, raving. The games makers, as they have been here, were brilliant. And this has to be better, though. I was with some Australians yesterday who actually said that. They said, look, we got it very right, but this is even better. And that kind of sums it up, really. I think when you get everything right in its component parts, and it all comes together, as it has here, it makes for something very, very special. And then the sport as well on top of that, with world records, great British success, 4 gold medals here in the athletics. That was, I mean, that's just been brilliant. Very, very special indeed.
They are memories to last a lifetime. In the boxing as well, and Darren Fletcher, a gold for Luke Campbell tonight in the bantamweight.
It was a sensational performance, Mark. I mean, we glowed about the performance of Nicola Adams the other day when she won the women's flyweight gold medal, but Luke Campbell was sensational against John Joe Nevin, the man who beat the world #1 and the top seed Alvarez of Cuba yesterday. The GB performance director Rob McCracken, the man that's put together this GB boxing team and leads the training at the English Institute of Sport, he sat with us here in the commentary position. Rob, you've got to be so proud of what Luke Campbell's done tonight.
Oh yes, delighted. Luke was fantastic. What a tremendous Olympic final, and John Joe Nevin, a really talented boxer, and to beat John Joe Nevin in an Olympic final is just fantastic.
Rob, it seemed to make it look easy in the last round. The first was tactical. The second, Nevin certainly romped on, lunging all over the place. And then in the last, suddenly Luke did something. It was subtle, but it was a walkover from them.
Yeah, he stuck to the tactics. You can't go to John Joe Nevin or he'll pick you off like he did with the Cuban yesterday. Luke moved side to side, and Nevin had to come when Luke was in the lead, and Luke boxed masterfully in the last round, and it was all on the last round, and Luke pulled it out, and it was a great round. But what a fantastic bout between two tremendous boxers.
Tell us a bit about him, Rob, because he doesn't betray many emotions in the ring. He comes out with a passive face. I'm sure he actually had a little bit of a grin when he walked out the tunnel tonight and heard the roar inside Excel, but he's a quiet lad, isn't he, outside the ring? What's he like?
He's totally dedicated, Luke. He's a lovely kid. You know, he works really, really hard, thoroughly dedicated. He's really enjoyed the crowd and the attention that he's got down here, and he came out of himself a little bit tonight, and you saw that in the last round where he really went for it and flowed at times, and some of his boxing was tremendous.
And you've still got two more to fight for gold tomorrow, Fred Evans and Anthony Joshua. What an Olympic Games it's turning out, not just for Team GB, but for the boxers in particular.
It's a fantastic Olympic Games. We've seen some tremendous boxers and some tremendous boxing, and we've done fantastically well at this tournament, but it's not over yet. We've got Fred Evans and obviously Anthony Joshua going for gold tomorrow night, and hopefully they can put performances on like Luke and get there.
Rob, we'll let you go back because I know you want to enjoy the medal ceremony with the rest of the team in a couple of minutes' time. Well done.
Thank you.
That's Rob McCracken, the performance director. Two more golds to fight for tomorrow, Mark. Fred Evans at welterweight and big Anthony Joshua at super heavy. But this is Luke Campbell's night here at XL.
I'm going to come down with you tomorrow, Darren. Can't wait for that. We've got Mo Farah ceremonies coming at some stage. No, it's not this one. Don't panic, everybody. It's the women's 4x4. So, Vassos, there's no hurry at all with you.
Well, thank you, Mark. This is the moment for Tom Daley, really. This is it. His front 4.5 somersault dive. It's coming next. We're just watching the German, Martin Wolfram, who started so beautifully but made a bit of a mess of his third dive. A reverse dive in the tuck position, a big splash, and he's out of medal contention. Tom Daley is not out of medal contention, Karen Pickering. He's lying fourth, but this dive, he needs to do it as well as he's ever done because the quality tonight is so high.
Absolutely, can't afford to miss this, especially because it's his highest tariff dive. Of course, the scores at the end, the top two and the bottom two scores from the judges are taken off. The total of what is left is multiplied by the degree of difficulty of the dive. This is his highest degree of difficulty, so it's vital to get it right.
3 nines is just shy of 100 points. He needs that, I would say, at least. 3 9.5s is 105 points plus, and that will put him in contention for the gold medal. This is it, the front 4.5 somersault. He'll have a run-up. He will jump off the edge of the board and he will rotate forwards 4.5 times before entering the water as vertically as possible with as little splash as possible. Oh wow, Karen, oh wow! He's done it!
That is what Tom is so good at. He absolutely nailed that dive. You could see he used the momentum of the somersaults to take him through the water, to pull that splash in after him. So it made it look like it was even better than it was. He wrapped himself round underwater, dragged the splash down under with him. Beautiful diving from Tom.
It's what they call the entry save, and the judges have marked him highly. 2 9s and an 8.5. Tom Daley given just shy of 100 points for that dive, and he's bang in contention. He really is in contention, and he really is piling on the pressure to the 3 divers that were ahead of him before this 4th round of 6 dives. David Budaya of the USA and the 2 Chinese divers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the important bit, is the putting the pressure on the Chinese. They have a habit of faltering under pressure, so this is the perfect thing for Tom to be doing.
Well, we're just watching David Budaya, Mark, who is, would you believe it, afraid of heights with his 4th attempt, his 4th dive of 6. Reasonably good, the reverse 3.5 somersault, but I think Tom Daley will move up into the medal places after this 4th round.
Right, we will be back with you, Vassos. Just hearing that Germany 2-1 up on Holland in the hockey final. That's live on Olympics Extra. Oh, they've won 2-1. The Germans have won 2-1. So the Germans have won the gold medal against the Dutch. Great Britain lost the bronze medal match 3-1 a little bit earlier. Darren Campbell, we've just seen on the replay, the showman that he is, Usain Bolt, as he crosses the line and breaks the world record, he does the Mobot.
Yeah, Mike was saying he's just so aware of everything that's going on around him. And again, it just sums him up. I've always said Usain Bolt doesn't come into the arena just for himself. He comes to represent Jamaica, and he comes to put on a show for every single person that has paid good money to be in this arena. And, you know, Mo deserves Mo deserves that kind of respect. He's now at that top table as such, you know, with those global superstars. Mo will go on to be a global superstar and do whatever he wishes to do, and who would be jealous of him for being able to do that?
This has been a brilliant Olympics. I think about the only dodgy thing has been the Russian tracksuits, Catherine Murray, which are raspberry ripple, aren't they?
Yeah, I think if I'd have come out for my Olympic medal wearing something that was verging on shocking, I'd have felt a bit self-conscious about it. It's not the best, is it? It's not the best.
I think they've got the same design as the Russians and the Ukrainians, actually, haven't they? Yeah.
They have, yeah.
They're not brilliant. Vassos, back to you at the diving.
We've got one dive left in this fourth round, and I can tell you that Tom Daley, the plan was pressure the Chinese, see what happens. There were two Chinese leading after the third round of dives, but one of them has just made a bit of a mess of his fourth dive. His forward 4.5 somersault, his score in the 60s. That's Chibo. That means Tom Daley at worst will be in third place with 2 rounds of dives to come. He has dived absolutely beautifully. We now wait for Chibo, the superstar of world diving, for his fourth round dive scores, and he is in second place, just ahead of Tom Daley. So here's the situation, Mark, with 2 dives left. David Dyer of the USA, surprisingly, leads on 374 points. Then it's Chibo, China, 371. Then it's Tom Daley, Team GB, 369. At the moment, those 3 are battling it out for the medals. In fourth place is the Cuban on 348, so some way behind. Tom Daley is banging this.
Well, that's really good news from the Aquatic Centre, and we'll keep right across that with Vassos Alexander and Karen Pickering. Kath, you go around the circuit a lot, and you're saying that what Usain Bolt did with the Mobot, he's very sort of savvy and clever, and he does it wherever he is, a little sort of nod to the host city, as it were.
It is. We've seen him, well, throughout the last couple of seasons, haven't we? He goes to Manchester as a Manchester United fan and puts on, obviously, a Man U vest. That's understandable. I haven't seen him in a blue Man City one. I don't think it will ever happen. But when he goes abroad on the circuit into France, he'll wear a piece of French kit, or he'll run somewhere else. And he's very, very astute. And as Darren said, that's what makes him so unique. And that's what the fans and track and field fans make us love him even more, because he makes an effort. He wouldn't have to have been told to do that. He decides on his own. He's not prescripted in any way. So very, very astute and very, very aware. And that's why he backs it up with the performances. That's why we love him as a performer so much, as an athlete.
I mean, the double treble, Kath. The double treble. The 100, the 200, the sprint relay in successive Olympic Games.
It's outstanding. There is no other word to use apart from outstanding. And I think we all agree we're very blessed and lucky to witness so many athletic performances, great athletic performances with our work, including Mo Farah tonight, and of course including what Usain's done. It's unbelievable. It may take a bit of time, I think, for everybody to sink in, really, because it's that good.
Chris Thompson is still with us, sometime training partner of Mo Farah, long distance runner and friend of Mo. And it's great for the sport, Chris, isn't it? Because everybody knows who Usain Bolt is, and they increasingly know who Mo Farah is, and that gives the sport a profile as well.
Exactly. I think it's important for not only a professional to execute how good they are as a sports person, but also to show their personality and for people to identify with that. And that's incredibly important for the sport as a whole. And the publicity and the excitement of the crowd watching it. If we were in here by ourselves, just running around the track, it would be nothing without the fans and the people watching. And people can get on board more with people when they feel like they know them that little bit more. And that's what Usain and that's what Mo, they put bums on seats basically, and that's what makes them so great.
And I think people are afraid to look over the edge of the cliff for the day when Usain Bolt is gone, and what do they do with the sport at that stage? And we have to bear in mind that he's 26 here, he'll be 30 come Rio. His body breaks down at fairly regular intervals now, and so just hang on to what we've just seen, because it might be his last Olympic appearance.
Do you know the other thing that's occurring to me? A little bit of oasis in the background. Obviously the Commonwealth Games is great in 2 years' time in Scotland, in Glasgow. But, from the British runners' point of view in the track field and everybody here, it's been so good having home advantage. It's going to be a bit weird, isn't it, in the future? You're going to be running around the bend going, where's that big Mexican wave roar that normally accompanies me and helps me on my way and helps me dig deep when things aren't going well?
Exactly, and I think that's it's going to be hard to get used to for the next couple of years.
Another psychologist in the team.
Yeah, exactly. It is that much of a boost. It is like having an extra leg. But the good thing is we've got Scotland and we've got the world champions in 2017 back in this stadium as well, and that's what amongst the athletes are talking. We can't wait to do this again in front of a home nation. That's what we can't wait to do.
I mean, the IAAF are thrilled already, Mike. They've got to be. They know that they should sell out the morning sessions, and we were in Daegu last year. Well, what would anybody give to sell out morning sessions at a World Championships or an Olympic Games?
Well, you see, that's sometimes the gamble they take by bringing the championships, as they did then, to one of their chief sponsors of the Diamond League. And so they took it to the host nation of their chief sponsors, which was South Korea. And wait for this, can you believe it, that before the men's 100 metres, about half an hour before, the crowd was bigger than it was for the men's 100 metres. That gives you an idea of how much passion, or how little passion, more to the point, is in those parts of the world. That's what they've got to think about. That this is what makes the sport so fantastic. This is what sells it to the rest of the world as something really special. This number of people in here every day tells you it's worth looking at.
And do you know, the other people who'll be very happy are the other sporting organisations within Great Britain. Because when they want to bid for World Championships, of course the Football World Cup isn't coming here in the short term, and after the crowds there were so many people texting and tweeting going, are you watching Sepp Blatter? How many people come to all these events? But everybody who runs cricket and football and rugby league and rugby union and wants to bid for a world global championship will just say, look at the Olympic Games. Darren Campbell will say, look at the Olympic Games.
That was one of the legacies left in Manchester. I think, since Manchester had the Commonwealth Games, we've had the squash World Championship.
No, we're just seeing whose victory ceremony is. I've got it right twice in a row, so I'm not going to say anything.
Guess who, isn't it?
If I get a third one wrong, I'll be out.
Yeah,
no, it's the women's high jump.
See, you're making us all pause now. This is live radio. No, but because of how successfully Manchester staged the Commonwealth Games, they've since had championships after championships, whether it's swimming championships, as I say, squash championships. So that is part of the legacy. But for our athletes to be able to compete on the highest level, we need to get it right in grassroots sport.
Got more Russian tracksuits.
Yeah.
Another accident in the paint factory.
We've got more Raspberry Ripple, which is a good time to leave. At 9:32 to the news with Faye Rusco.
On digital radio, digital TV, mobile and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Within the past half hour, Britain's Luke Campbell has won Olympic gold in the men's boxing bantamweight division. Earlier this evening, Mo Farah won the men's 5,000 metres, his second gold of the Games. A week ago, he won gold in the 10,000 metres on Super Saturday. The Knights' Jess Ennis and Greg Rutherford also won golds for Team GB. Police investigating the disappearance of Tia Sharp have said sorry for the delay in finding a body at her grandmother's house in South London. The 12-year-old went missing 8 days ago. Officers are blaming the failure on human error. Tia's grandmother has been arrested on suspicion of murder, along with her partner Stuart Hazel. The name of a British soldier who was shot dead in Helmand Province on Thursday has been released by the Ministry of Defence. Lieutenant Andrew Robert Chesterman was serving with 3rd Battalion the Rifles and was 26 years old. 2 strong earthquakes have struck northwestern Iran in quick succession. At least 150 people are reported to have died and more than 400 were injured. And extra Olympic closing ceremony tickets could soon go on sale, but not until tomorrow. Organisers say they've been unable to predict exactly how many seats won't have a good view of the show until the venue's transformed after the athletics.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
London 2012 with Mark Pougatch.
Still waiting for Mo Farah's presentation of his gold medal, so we'll go back to Vassos and Tom Daley.
Yeah, we are approaching, we are in the middle of the business end of this men's 10-metre platform final. We're watching Tom Daley, and he's really in the mix for medals. He is 3rd after 4 rounds of diving. He's ahead of one of his Chinese competitors, behind the other Chibo, and behind the American David Budaya, who only just squeaked into the semi-finals, a bit like Tom Daley. Budaya was right on the line, Karen. He was 18th.
Yeah, he had an even worse prelims and was very lucky to even make it through to the semi-finals, but stepped up this morning and really dived well. Has a lot of support here. A lot of the fans here wearing Budaya T-shirts I've seen around the place, so plenty of support, but nothing like the support for Tom Daley. Every time he steps onto that platform, the place erupts.
Yeah, I think this wave-shaped roof is going to get blown off the top of the Aquatic Centre. They just love it here. This is the last event in the Aquatic Centre, and they're making a lot of noise. Currently on the top of the board, it's Martin Wolfram of Germany, who started well but has faded away. Then it's Tom Daley, then it's Budaya, then the Chinese diver who had a bit of a shocker, Lin Yu, in his fourth dive, the forward 4.5 somersault that Tom Daley got so right. And then finally it's Chi Bo. So Daley's next dive, listen to the crowd. He hasn't even been announced yet. He's just appeared on top of the 10-metre platform. Daley's next dive, a back 3.5 somersault in the pike position. It means he will take off backwards and rotate backwards away from the board 3.5 times in the pike position, which means his knees will be locked straight with a tight bend at the waist. He needs to point his toes. He needs the right amount of rotation. He needs his position on entry to be as vertical as possible. And he needs to rip his entry, to slap the surface of the water with his flat palms, to pull the splash underwater, creating a vacuum between his hands and his head and his shoulders. He's ready to dive, Tom Daley, standing with his back to the water, and now he's in the air. There are the 3 somersaults in the top position, and there is another brilliant dive from Tom Daley. Oh, pressure, what pressure!
Unbelievable. The youngest man in the field seems to be the only one who is not feeling that pressure. A wonderful dive. It was his best dive in the semi-finals. Will it be his best time to dive tonight? It looked like he was going to over-rotate. He saved it again, as he does so well. Just a small amount of splash. Beautifully done. He only has one more dive to go.
A sigh of relief, a sigh of anticipation, a sigh of some sort from Tom Daley as he stands under the shower and awaits his mark. And here it is, 9s across the board for Tom Daley. He is keeping the pressure up on his rivals. That dive, 97.2 points. 466.2, his current score. Now it's David Budaya, the American who's scared of heights, at the top of the diving board. His back 3.5 somersault in the pike position. It's the identical dive. We can compare and contrast, and that wasn't as good.
It definitely wasn't as good. Not a great entry there from David Budaya. He may be starting to feel the pressure. He's leading this competition at the moment. Maybe it is just starting to get to these divers, and it wasn't as good.
The 23-year-old from America gets 8.5s, where Tom Daley got 9s. Then guess who's leading? Tom Daley is leading. There are 2 divers to go. He's slowly picking them off. One by one, there are 2 divers left, the Chinese divers. This is Lin Yi, 21 years of age, who says he's so desperate for gold, he'll try his best and he will fight to the end. But he has a big mistake in his repertoire tonight. His 4th dive was simply not good enough, 68.45. Surely that has put paid to his chances, certainly of the gold medal. The other diver, incidentally, Chi Bo, the superstar of world diving, he says the medal is not so important. We don't believe a word of it. He just wants to do his best. Here is Lin Yu of China. This is his arm stand dive. So the judges will mark on the quality and the length of time of the hold, and there he goes, legs together at the top of the diving board, standing on his hands and holding the position and holding it. And now he enters the dive, the twists and the turns in the pike position. Oh, that's good. That is good. Even his coach applauds.
Well, it was a good dive there from Lin, but he's got some work to do to catch up and make up for those mistakes he made earlier. And it's great to see this crowd absolutely understanding the scores, looking at the scores, understanding where that places Tom. They are so involved and so into this diving here tonight, and the pool is full right the way down the 50 metres. The spectators are filling. There are 17,500 of them here tonight to cheer on Tom.
How does this atmosphere compare to some of the swimming nights you've been at?
It's astonishing because the crowd, the roof just suddenly lifts off when Tom appears, and it's quiet for most of the rest of the time, and then suddenly there's this boom of noise that appears for Tom.
I can tell you that Lynn is currently in third position behind Tom Daley by 30 points. That was Chi Bo's final dive. What did we make of that, Karen?
It was a good dive. He's been very consistent. It's not the best I've ever seen him dive, but he's been consistent. But is it good enough, Vassos?
It's not good enough for him. It means that Tom Daley leads with one dive to go. Tom Daley in gold medal position with a dive to go. It's tight at the top, but here are the scores. Daley 466.2, Budaya 466.05, Chi Bo 466.05, and then a gap of almost 30 points to Lynn in fourth place. This is what it's all about.
Well, it looks like three men will be fighting it out for the three medals, but which colour are they going to get? I can tell you the crowd are cheering Team GB. There are Union flags waving everywhere as the divers prepare to start the final round. And I can tell you that I looked over at his mentor, Leon Taylor, before he dived. He was mopping his brow with a napkin. He was so stressed. Right after the dive, he punched the air with two hands. His mentor is happy.
Well, I tell you what, this is just amazing. 17,500 people in the Aquatic Centre chanting GB, GB. And this is what happened in 2009 in Rome at the World Championships when, as a 15-year-old, Tom Daley became world champion. He dived 9th of the 12. He kept getting his dives right. It's what he's done tonight. He put the pressure on and his rivals wilted under pressure. There is one dive to go. Daley leads the world.
Well, it's incredible, isn't it? You're probably, I don't know, a mile away, I would have thought, Vassos, but it just seems to be as if the atmosphere is sort of bouncing between the two stadiums. We're waiting here for Mo Farah's medal ceremony and the sprint relay medal ceremony as well. But I think a lot of people, again, have got radios, are in touch with what's happening with you. This is incredible, Vassos, when you consider at one stage last night we were worried about Daley even qualifying for the latter stages.
Absolutely, he was 16th of the 32 divers after his 5th dive of 6, and they all count, remember. The marks are out of 10, 7 judges, the top 2 scores and the bottom 2 scores are removed, and the middle 3 are times by the degree of difficulty. It's relatively complicated, but it kind of makes sense when you watch it and when you're here. And yeah, you're absolutely right. In that preliminary, he said he wasn't really up for it. It was late at night. He was late on in the start list. He had to wait a long time before his dives. But if he didn't get his last dive right last night, he would have been out, as his dive partner Pete Waterfield was. Very, very disappointed. Waterfield, incidentally, Karen, said that he didn't feel any nerves all afternoon. I saw him an hour before he was about to dive. He said, "Hi, Vassos, how are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm fine. Good luck to you." He said, "Yeah, fine." And he seemed so relaxed, and then apparently he got on top of that board, and that's when the nerves hit him, and then it's too late to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's right. He said he was feeling absolutely fine, but stood there, and by then it's too late. If you're feeling nervous during the day, you've got time to deal with it, to cope with it, to focus, to remember what you're about to do. But if it suddenly hits you on the back of the platform, you've got no way of coping with it. You've got no time to deal with it, and you just don't want to be feeling those wobbly legs, those nerves, those moments of doubt. You don't want to be feeling them just as you're about to perform an important dive, and that's what happened to Pete.
What will Tom Daley be feeling now? There are 5-6 minutes before his final dive. He knows if he gets it right, he could win a gold medal here.
I think the strange thing is that we're sitting here imagining what he must be feeling, but this is a young man who seems to be able to park all those things to one side. We saw in that appeal early on, he didn't get flustered, it didn't raise his heart rate, he didn't have a problem with it. He had to climb back up the platform going past all the other divers. He got back up and he nailed a dive. He seems to be able to cope with it in such a special way.
He has smoked 5 dives out of 5, Mark. If it's 6 out of 6, this could be a special moment here.
Well, the PA man, and I would have thought that still 85% of the crowd have stayed behind to see Mo Farah's ceremony. The PA man has just announced that Tom Daley's leading. The place has gone wild again. Karen, I don't want to jinx him, but a lot of people would have seen Tom Daley's documentary. I know we've talked about it before, and after losing his father the way he did, for him to win the gold medal, probably the last gold medal maybe of Great Britain of these most memorable games, it's just almost be too much, wouldn't it?
I mean, you just if you made a film, if you wrote a book about that, you'd just think that was just completely unbelievable.
You'd think it was Hollywood schmaltz, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. You would not believe that it was possible. I think to get a medal, which looks incredibly likely, is a huge achievement. I think anyone who watched that documentary as well will now kind of begin to understand the mentality of a boy who can put these things to one side, because, and you know, that the thing that has helped him cope with the loss of his dad is what makes him such a great diver, that he's able to deal with what he's feeling and put it to one side and cope with it when he needs to. And it's what got him through it, and it's what is getting through this tonight, because I know that he's coping with it better than I am.
The whole country wants Invassos to nail this last dive. Just to say, we have got a medal ceremony here. Mo Farah's going to be last. It's the sprint relay medal ceremony, so the focus is very much with you in the aquatic centre.
Well, just to confirm, they stay in dive order. So Tom Daley will dive 9th of the 12 divers. He will be followed by Budaya and Lin and Chi Bo of China, who will take the last dive of this London 2012 10-metre platform final. So Daley has to put the pressure on. And one other important thing to note, Karen, is that Daley's last dive is among his easier dives, just 3.3 degree of difficulty. It's a reverse 3.5 somersault, taking off facing forwards and rotating backwards. The others, his rivals for the gold medal, if you like, because there are 3 out in front, have 3.6 on the degree of difficulty. So Daley needs them, with the score so tight, he needs them to make errors.
Yeah, absolutely. And what it means is that with an easier dive and not such a high tariff to multiply it by, he does have to nail that last dive. He does have to do it perfectly, but it's so nice to come into that dive knowing the tough ones, particularly the 4.5 somersault, his bogey dive, if you like, that's all behind him. It's all downhill. It's a simple dive he will have done over and over and over again in competitions and in training, and that's all he has to finish with. Where the other divers, the 3 going after him, much more higher tariff dives, they're going to have to get it right, but if they get it wrong, it can be a big wrong.
The pressure on top of that diving board, especially at this stage of an Olympic final, is just excruciating. Even Budaya admits it. There's a lot of tension, he says. There is nerves, there is pressure. If you ask all 12 divers whether they get nervous, 100% will say yes. As you say, Karen, it is how you cope with the nerves. It's like a golfer on the first tee of the most, or the 18th, the 72nd tee, the most important tee shot of his life. He's not only got to get the mind right, but also the body, because physically this is such a demanding sport.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be right. If you weren't nervous, it means that you don't care, and you've got nothing to channel to in any sport, whether it's to make you faster or to make you concentrate more. You need that adrenaline to get the most out of you, but it's how you deal with it. It's whether that allows you to rise to the occasion or you just get absolutely swallowed up in the nerves and the fear. And for Tom tonight, he is rising higher and higher.
Well, Tom Daley has begun his slow climb to the top of the 10-metre board. They get on with it in diving. It means that the diver who's diving will have the guy following him on the next board down, which is 7.5 metres, and the next board down will be the guy following that, and that means Tom Daley, who is 1, 2, 3 divers and then him, he has just begun. He's on the 3-metre platform, just to the right of where Nicholas McCrory of the USA currently stands for his final dive. McCrory lying 9th after 5 rounds, so a relatively good competition for him and a relatively good final dive.
Yep, not bad, and these guys will be looking for placings, they'll be looking for national records, they'll be looking for personal best times. It's great experience for them if they haven't had a good dive, to see how they cope with bouncing back and doing another better dive, because that's all part of it. We've seen tonight in the semi-finals, in the prelims, how important the mental side of it is. So this is, regardless of whether they're chasing medals, this is great preparation.
Just to remind everybody how tight the scores are. Daly leads with one dive to go, 466.2, ahead of Budaya and Chibo, 466.05. Before Daly has his final dive, let's get a quick update from Darren at the boxing.
Well, they're just presenting the medals here at the moment. Vassos, John Joe Nevin is just having the silver medal put round his neck, and then Luke Campbell will stand onto the top podium. The 24-year-old from Hull, who becomes Britain's first bantamweight boxing champion in an Olympic ring since 1908. Nevin's got his medal. He'll be presented with the flowers, and then the all-important gold will go around the neck of Luke Campbell. He's standing there in his Team GB tracksuit. He's got that face that never really betrays any emotion. He boxes like that. When he walks into the arena, just a flicker of a smile on his face. But he's going to be the proudest man in the room in a matter of seconds. He's boxed his entire life for this moment. Luke Campbell is about to be presented with Great Britain's second boxing gold at the Olympic Games. He raises the right index finger in the air, stands on the top podium, and the gold medal, what he's waited so long for, what he's dreamt about, is placed around the neck of Luke Campbell. Let's hope Tom Daly can do likewise, Vassos. Back to you.
He is next to dive after Martin Wolfram of Germany with his hardest dive, the front 4.5 that Tom Daly got right tonight. And it's the dive that has put him in contention for the gold medal. Karen, while we watch Martin Wolfram, let's talk about Daly's final dive, a reverse 3.5 in the tuck position. It means he takes off facing forwards, rotates backwards, with his body folded into a tight ball, hands holding his shins, toes pointed.
Yeah, it's one of those dives that makes you suck in your breath because he's rotating back towards the platform, and there's the cheer as the crowd spot Tom on the back of the 10-metre platform. But it is one of those dives, you can't be too close to the platform. The judges don't like it if it is too nerve-wracking. They're too close, but you can't travel too far away either. Got to spot that perfectly.
Yeah, always a gasp when divers almost hit their heads. They rotate so quickly, these guys. There's always a gasp when they almost hit their heads on the way down, as the great Greg Louganis did famously in 1988. So Tom Daly stands at the top of the platform. I think Martin Wolfram just hurt his arm as he entered the water there, so there's a little bit of a delay as he receives treatment. His coach is there. He looks in some pain. His shoulder has he dislocated his shoulder?
He may well have done. This is one of the things that you find with 10-metre platform, and it's why you find the divers are so much younger, because they are hitting the water at about 35 miles an hour. They're smacking down, and if they get it wrong, it can really damage their shoulders.
One more dive, Tom. One more time. Thousands and thousands of hours of training. More than 1,000 hours a year. And it all comes down to what happens in the next 1.6 seconds. Tom Daly's final dive. He leads the competition after 5 rounds of 6. He composes himself at the top of that 10-metre platform. He looks so small up there. And now he stands still. This is a dive where he will rotate back towards the board. Here he goes. Oh, he's done it! He has smoked another one! Everyone on their feet to acclaim Tom Daly. 6 dives out of 6, almost perfect. Huge smile from the 18-year-old. Let's wait for his marks.
Wow, Tom Daly, what a final dive. He is hugging his coach. He's greeting his coach. They're jumping around. He's delighted with that, and so he should be now. It's going to be a waiting game.
One of the judges gave him a 10. A few gave him 9s. The 3 that count are 9.5, 9 and 9. 90.75. That will do. That puts the pressure on. There are 3 divers to go. Tom Daly, bang in contention for a medal, for a gold medal. Who knows? Here's David Budaya of the USA, lying second equal with Chibo of China, the 23-year-old. His last dive is a back 2.5 somersault with 2.5 twists. It's much more difficult. He'll take off backwards with his back to the water and rotate backwards and twist twice through the air as well. It is more difficult. If he gets it right, it will be worth many more points. But the pressure on David Budaya's shoulders, well, rather him than me. It's quiet in the aquatic centre as the American stands with his arms outstretched, and there are the twists and there are the somersaults, and you have to say that was brilliant.
That was a great dive from Badia. Under pressure there, he delivered. That was good. Tom is sitting amongst his teammates on the floor. All he can do is wait and see, and he knows that was a good dive. He was clapping his hands. He's just going to wait and see what colour medal will it be for Tom Daley.
Not assured of a medal yet, but it's looking pretty good for Tom Daley. Let's look at Budia's score. 9.5, 9.5, 9.5. He moves above Tom Daley into gold medal position. Daley in second place with 2 Chinese divers to come. This is Lin Yi with a back 2.5 somersault with 2.5 twists. The same dive we've just seen from Budia. He was, remember, 30 points behind Daley before this round of dives, so he will need 9.5s and 10s if he's going to challenge for a medal. If he doesn't overtake Tom Daley, then Daley definitely gets a medal. Here goes Lin. Beautiful final dive, beautiful. Nerveless, and now nervous as we wait for the scores.
That wasn't the perfect entry. A bit more splash than we're used to seeing from the Chinese divers. That will cost him, but it is a high tariff dive. You can get away with tiny mistakes and still get the high points. Just over rotated at the end of that dive, right on entry. Couldn't save it like we've seen Tom do so many times.
Lin's down in 5th place. Tom Daley's assured of a medal at London 2012. He's in silver medal position at the moment with 1 diver to go. It's Chi Bo. It's the 19-year-old who has ruled this event for the past 3 years. Daley led him by a fraction of a point before this final dive. Daley got his right. Can Chi get his right? A back 2.5 somersaults again with 2.5 twists. The degree of difficulty is 3.6, and Chi wastes no time. He's ready to dive. He walks to the end of the platform. He turns around. He raises his arms. He flexes his knees once, twice, and then pauses, almost as if he takes a minute to let the pressure ease off his shoulders, and then he jumps high and he twists and he somersaults and he enters the water with barely a splash.
That was a beautiful final dive from Chi Bo. You can't take anything away from him. He really has dived consistently, and right at the end he absolutely nailed the final dive. It's going to be touch and go between the gold medals for Budia and for Chi Bo, but we'll wait to see the points as they revolve. But these boys under pressure, they all delivered fantastic.
Great dive from Chi Bo. It's not good enough for the gold medal. That will go to David Budia, but Tom Daley wins bronze at London 2012. Daley wins a bronze medal.
And the whole of the GB team have just jumped in the water. All the team, they're in the pool, they're jumping around. Tom Daley is in there with them, absolutely delighted. Fantastic scenes in the diving pit.
Tom.
What a year he's had, and doesn't he deserve it?
Wow, bronze medal for Tom Daley here, Mark, and we are loving it.
Well, that's fantastic achievement after the year he's had. That is just unbelievable from Tom Daley. Congratulations to him and Mike Costello. The crowd here just before 10 o'clock have been rewarded for their patience.
Yes, they have, as Mo Farah in his predominantly blue tracksuit stands behind the centre of the podium. 50 laps in the past 8 days of this magnificent arena. Gold in the 10,000 metres a week ago, and gold now in the 5,000 metres as he encourages the Mobot celebration once again. Mo Farah steps up onto the centre of the podium for the second time in a week. In the women's events, it was a double that was beyond the greatest female long-distance runner of all time, Tirunesh Dibaba. But in this stadium, on this track, Mo Farah has completed a memorable double and already looking very emotional as the applause rings around this stadium once again. It's turned almost into a volcano erupting once again as Mo Farah gets set to hear the national anthem for the second time in 8 days from the centre of the podium, and he will turn to his right and see his image and his alone very soon on on the screen at the far end of the stadium. Two runs for the ages by Mo Farah to win gold over 5,000 and 10,000 metres. And the last image in this stadium at the end of an athletics programme that will live long in the memory is of Mo Farah collecting his second gold medal and confirming his status as one of the heroes of the Games and Britain's greatest ever long-distance runner.
Well, we've had two utterly sensational Saturdays in a row, haven't we? Not just here in the stadium, but all the way around the Olympic Park and the Olympic venues, to the ExCeL, to the Aquatic Centre. And just before 10 o'clock on this Saturday evening in August, about 70,000 people happily sung the national anthem in honour of Mo Farah. It is an extraordinary denouement to a memorable Olympic Games. And Tom Daley's story is up there with the very, very best of them, Vassos Alexander. Even if it's not a gold medal, that bronze medal means just as much, and the achievement of that young man is arguably just as much as Mo Farah and Jess Ennis, when you bear in mind what sort of life he's been through in the last year personally.
Yep, losing his father Rob, who went everywhere with him. He was at every practice dive, at every training session, at every competition. It was his dad, Rob, when he won the World Championship in 2009, who gate crashed the press conference to take the microphone off a reporter and say, "Tom, come over here and give your old man a hug." He lost his battle against cancer last year, did Rob Daley, and Tom struggled, didn't he, Karen? He struggled to come back from that, but come back he has.
Yeah.
At the start of this year, he wasn't diving well, but he has, well, rather like in this competition, he wasn't diving well last night, and he's pulled it round.
Well, I think a lot of the time when he hasn't been diving well, people have assumed he's not coping with the situation, when there are times when he's actually been trying out new dives, trying out different things, and that, of course, affects the results. But he's dealt with so much pressure. He's dealt with the criticism. Perhaps he's doing too much media work. He's dealt with the demands of media work. He's been doing school exams as well. This is a young man who has to deal with getting his Spanish homework in on time. And under immense pressure and not having the greatest start into this event, he just bounced back. And I remember watching that documentary and thinking, remarkable what he is able to do, how he is able to cope with situations, and he sort of questions how he should be feeling about things, because he's not sure that he's maybe feeling things in the way that other people do. But that is his talent. He is able to cope with situations and just come out fighting. And utterly amazing scenes here in the diving pit. And I think what strikes me about the personality of Tom, and I think what says so much, is that he is so popular with his teammates. He shares his time, he shares the publicity, he shares the limelight. He is loved by his teammates, and that says so much.
It was the same teammates who joined him for that "I'm Sexy and I Know It" video that hugged him as a group and then pushed him into the pool and jumped in with him. What a moment. Tonya Couch, his best mate, and others, Stacey Powell in there. It was just a moment of youthful exuberance. What do you do when you celebrate? You jump into the nearest pool. Fantastic.
I'm just wondering, Vassos and Karen, what happened to the British stiff upper lip Victorian man when most of the world was pink? I mean, it's completely turned on its head, hasn't it? It's quite unbelievable.
It's just lovely to see such natural reactions. He's so delighted, and the relief and the excitement there, and it's felt by the whole team. You know, they're in it together. It's a small squad of divers. They train together, they go on training camps together. They are all feeling like this is a victory for them. They have been through his ups and downs. They, more than anyone else, have seen his good days, seen his bad days, and they, more than anyone else, understand exactly what it is he has achieved in this pool tonight.
Andy Banks, his coach, dived in head first, tracksuit on, shoes on, doesn't care, got out of the pool and gave Tom a huge hug. And there's a hug for Tonya Couch, his best friend, who was there for him when his dad died, when finally the sad news that Rob had lost his battle against cancer came through. Great scenes of celebration in the British diving squad, but also in the American diving squad. And let's say congratulations to David Budaya, who, we've mentioned it a couple of times, he's terrified of heights, hates it on that 10-metre board. He's the Olympic champion, silver for China and Chibo, bronze for Tom Daley. And what fun it's been here, Mike.
Unbelievable. We're now seeing here the two stars, Usain Bolt and Mo Farah, Mike Costello, being interviewed together. It's incredible. I think Mo made a crack about Arsenal, which is his team, and a few of them booed. I know that somebody senior at Arsenal got a text from Mo Farah the day after he won the 10,000 metres, and they couldn't believe it.
Look, that single image on the screen at each end of the stadium now, doesn't that just tell you how Mo Farah has grown in the past week? Who could have believed that Mo Farah would belong on the same screen at the end of the Olympic Games as Usain Bolt? Fantastic.
I mean, this is amazing, isn't it? Does this happen anywhere else in the world, Darren, that you'd have I know it's the Olympics, but, you know, the two stars like this are just hanging out together, being interviewed by a TV presenter?
No, but this is only happening because of the crowd staying here.
Yeah.
And that's why I always believed that this Olympic Games would be special. Not because it's the Olympics in London, but just because the people make a Special Olympics. The athletes will perform if the people come and support, and from start to finish the people have come and supported right to the very end, and every single athlete has played their part in the greatest show on earth. And Usain Bolt leaving again with 3 Olympic gold medals, Mo Farah 2 gold medals, a Londoner. It's perfect, it's fitting, and what a way to say goodbye to London.
What were they saying, Kath? Because we've been talking, we can't hear. We can't multitask women.
I think the biggest thing that came out from both Mo and Usain was what Usain said at the end, as they both stand on the rostrum. Usain Bolt does the Mo Farah does the Bolt arrow pose. That is the picture that will adorn thousands of newspapers across the world tomorrow, and they thank the crowd.
That's the picture.
The crowd.
That's the picture that will define London 2012.
And I'm not in the newspaper industry, but please get a copy of that tomorrow morning and keep that for your grandchildren. There's going to be a scramble now to the newsagent at 7 in the morning.
You started
Please keep that. Keep that. I mean, I went through a drawer of my mum's the other day. I found newspapers going back to the coronation, because those sorts of things are worth keeping. Keep that picture of Usain Bolt doing the Mo Bolt and Mo Farah doing the bow and arrow.
I was just going to say, does that now mean that Mo gets 2 stamps?
Well, that's a good question.
And
two post boxes.
Yeah.
He's already got a double post box. That's what they'd already done in his I think Hounslow, and I thought that was a bit fitting.
Do you think the American Post will do one in Oregon as well? Tony Livesey is up next when we're done. Tony, it's really just scenes I never thought I would see here. And it's great because it's just... Do you know why else it's great? Because it's very British. They're just having a bit of fun and, you know, being quite self-deprecating and mimicking each other. It is quite idiosyncratically British, which was always the key to these games to be a success.
Well, I've just seen a fan in an Irish shirt walk past me with a bowler hat on and a Union flag sticking out the top on a pole. So it's getting a bit ridiculous everywhere. What a lovely image you've just painted there of Usain Bolt and Mo Farah on the podium. They're doing their own, the Mobot and the Lightning Bolt. We'll have the front pages as they come in tonight on the programme, so it'll be interesting to see if they react to that. But we're in Leicester Square. It's kind of party time here tonight. I think everybody's talking about what Mo Farah's achieved. If you don't get him on your show, Mark, we're hopefully going to have him on ours. May get Tom Daley as well after his brilliant bronze. We've got some live 80s music on the programme tonight, and double silver Olympic medalist Roger Black is back with us now. Last night he said if Mo Farah got the 5,000 metres gold, that would be the moment of the games. So we're going to talk to Roger about that, but what we want to ask tonight, we're kind of starting our look back tonight. It's show 18 of 19, and tomorrow night it's all going to be about the closing ceremony. So tonight, in honour of Mo, we want people to text in their moment. You see what we've done there? Their moment of the games. Text us 85058. Let's have a look back and let's have a typically British celebration.
quite right too. Let's have a good knees up at the end of it all. So we are with Tony in about 21 minutes time. Let's go to the golf. Ian Carter, news of the third day.
Well, Rory McIlroy has been continuing to a degree anyway, the mojo, I would say, Mark, because he's had a fantastic outward 9 here. Spoilt slightly by a drop shot at the 9th, going to the turn in 32. Youngster from Northern Ireland is sharing the lead with Vijay Singh at 6 under par, but in the last 10 minutes the horn has sounded because of threatening weather in the area, so play has been suspended with those two at the top of the leaderboard. 6 under par, 1 ahead of Adam Scott at 5 under as he plays the 10th. Tiger Woods has gone backwards very, very quickly, as he often does on third round days of majors these days. He's 3 over par for the 7 holes that he's completed so far, so back to 1 under, 5 shots out of the lead. Graham McDowell is 3 shots behind at 2 under, and so too Ian Poulter. It's a high quality leaderboard, and McIlroy and Singh lead the way.
So about 20 minutes we got left until we hand over to Tony Livesey, so we want to round up the diving, round up the athletics, and of course Luke Campbell's excellent performance in winning gold in the bantamweight this evening against the Irishman John Joe Nevin. So here's the new Olympic champion at bantamweight, Luke Campbell, with Jason Mohammed.
Luke Campbell, you are an Olympic champion. I repeat, an Olympic champion. How are you feeling?
Lots of words, very emotional. Something I've worked for all my life. I can't believe it's here, really can't.
You showed great maturity in the ring there. Did it help that you knew John Joe Nevin really well, the ins and outs of your opponent?
You can look at it both ways. He knew me really well as well. So we both knew each other. You know, he's a top fighter. You know, it's a very difficult fight, very technical. It was just about outwitting each other.
But from where I was standing, you seemed to get your tactics spot on tonight, attacked when you needed to and defended against a pretty aggressive fighter.
Yeah, he's a very strong fighter as well, you know, he's strong at punching, so I had to be aware of that, and you know, I had to be on my game to win, and that's what it was. I was on my game tonight.
One of your inspirations was the great Muhammad Ali. You're an Olympic champion, Luke.
Can't believe it, I really can't. I appreciate all the support here, back home in Hull. Massive support. I really can't have done it without you. Thank you.
On the way back to Vassos for Tom Daley's ceremony, let me just tell you the Jamaican team. All right, we're going straight to Vassos now.
He's on the bottom rung of the podium, but he doesn't care what rung of the podium he's on. Tom Daley gets a bronze medal round his neck. He kisses the medal once, twice. He shows it to all corners of the Aquatic Centre. He has got a big grin on his face as he receives his bunch of flowers. He bounced onto that podium, and now he can't stop touching this medal. It means so much for him. It is the first British individual diving medal at Olympic Games for 52 years, Karen.
Absolutely beautiful moment. I mean, the noise as he walked out and as he got ready to go onto that podium, and he just was sort of laughing to himself. I don't think he can quite believe the support he's been getting. He jumped up and down on the podium. An absolutely wonderful moment to savour.
And the contrast as Chi Bo of China receives his silver medal. He looks like he's at a funeral. He looks shell-shocked that he hasn't won gold. He said after the semi-final this evening that he didn't really mind what medal he got, or if he got a medal, he just wanted to execute. And execute he did, but not quite as well as David Budaya, the American, who will shortly be getting a gold medal around his neck. But none of them has a smile as wide, Mark, as Tom Daley's.
Oh, there's such good scenes here. I know we're going to go to Steve Bunce in a second, but basically Usain Bolt got hold of the remote control Mini and was sort of driving it over the finish line, Darren, and he was doing some turns.
No driving skills. Over the last couple of years, we've heard about his driving skills, and yes, we can see why he has accidents.
He was like a kid,
he was itching like a 10-year-old at Christmas, wasn't he? Give me a go, give me a go. Nesta Carter had the first go. He thought, I'm not having that, and bounded down, and his driving skills leave a lot to be desired.
We're going back to the interview area in the diving, where Steve Parry has gone to and is obviously waiting to speak to Tom Daley. Steve.
Yeah, I'm waiting patiently to speak to Tom Daley, but I've been well and truly put in my place, Mark. I know the pecking order. Tom Daley is apparently going to walk straight through the mix zone, have a word with his good mate David Beckham, and then he'll come back to me. Yeah. So it might be a few minutes longer than I originally thought.
So you're after David Beckham?
Well, I'm after Tom Daley. If Bex wants to come along, I guess
No,
I'll
I mean,
ask
as
him
in you're
question.
after him in the queue to speak to him. I think
correct.
I think that's probably fair enough. Right, Steve Bunce. Steve, there's been so much going on this evening. Luke Campbell, terrific goal for him, and of course, what have we got? 2 fights tomorrow to look forward to.
Yeah, only the 6th gold medal in 88 years and 19 Olympics for British boxers. Fought fantastically tonight, Luke. He was fighting a guy called John Joe Nevin from Ireland. They were 1 each going into tonight's contest, and it was all Campbell really in the 3rd round. Pulled away, won comfortably 14-11. But you know what? It's not over yet, Poogers. Fletcher and I down here at the XL, the Bear Pit, the beer-smelling Bear Pit, have been warning you, telling you for a very long time that we are going to be producing a lot down here. We've already had officially our best Olympics since 1956. Tomorrow afternoon, we've got 2 guys, Freddie Evans, the Traveller boys from South Wales, in at welterweight, and Anthony Joshua, the big man, from the local lad from Finchley. It's only 4 miles away or 5 miles away. Both going for gold tomorrow afternoon. We could end this event with 3 gold medals.
I'm coming to watch, Buncey. I'm coming to watch because I haven't managed to get to the boxing yet, and you know I love the boxing, so the atmosphere there has been the equal to anything, hasn't it?
Well, you know what, we had Katie Taylor, who's just sitting over to my right now. When she boxed the other day, it was officially the loudest any Olympic venue's been, and I was here, and I'm telling you this, Poogers, after 50 odd visits to Vegas, 5 Olympics, countless nights at York Hall where they throw the key away and just let people in, providing they're drunk and noisy. I have never ever been in an arena where I felt like that. I was washed away, taken away. It was staggering, it was stunning. And you know what, you come down to more, Poogers, we'll sort you out. Orange juice and a pasty on the Fletcher night.
That's and Lennox to keep order just in case. Steve, what do you think this has done for boxing generally, but also, as I was saying earlier, for when maybe in the world of boxing, Britain wants to host championships? Surely those around the world go, hang on a second, Great Britain's a venue.
Absolutely. Well, in the last 50 odd years, we've hosted one event up in Liverpool in 2008, the European Championships. This will change all of that. And remember, Poogers, this is the first Olympic cycle where we have had a 4-year training camp. We've had a training camp every week at the English Institute of Sport up in Sheffield. It's the first time, and it's paid off. And that's what's happened. It happened in cycling. It happens in rowing. That's what happens. If you invest money, you put in place a structure, you create a system, you build a system, you feed a system, you clothe a system, and you pay a system, you get results. And that's what we witnessed here today. We witnessed it on Thursday with the brilliant little Nicola Adams. And tomorrow afternoon here, I am absolutely convinced that Fletcher and I will be crying our little eyes out as we get 2 more fantastic golds in the boxing.
Well, you're going to be rounding it all off tomorrow because obviously the action has finished here. So we're looking forward to that a great deal. Thank you very much, Steve. And Darren Fletcher and Lennox Lewis. I can just tell you they've already started to cover over the infield here in preparation for tomorrow's closing ceremony. Back to the Aquatic Centre as obviously Steve Parry waits his turn after David Beckham to have a word with Tom Daley. Vassos Alexander.
This feels like gold for Tom Daley. It really does. How happy can one young man be with a bronze medal? They received their medals at the far end of the swimming pool, so 50 metres plus away from the diving boards at the left-hand edge, as we look at it, of the Aquatic Centre, and they're walking down the edge of the pool. Daley draped in a Union flag, David Budaya draped in the stars and stripes of the USA, and stony-faced but still draped in a Chinese flag is Chi Bo. He doesn't look happy with silver, but frankly, he should be.
Well, you know, the Chinese are not used to getting silver medals. They only got 1 at the last Olympic Games. They've got 2 here. They're not used to being beaten. But wonderful scenes. Tom climbed up and threw his flowers into the crowd, into the British supporters. He got the Union flag, and now he is draping himself and stopping for photos. Those photos, well, we'll be seeing them tomorrow, won't he?
He's such a kind of a... He's got 1 million Twitter followers. He has more internet searches during the games than any other Team GB athlete. And do you think he needed a medal just to kind of round-off brand Daly, if you like.
Do you know what? I honestly, I don't think his supporters would have cared or would have loved him any less for not getting a medal, because his story is quite remarkable. He's an astonishing young man, and if you could market whatever it is he has in him, that he's able to cope with these situations and bring back the medal after everything he's been through, he would be, well, even more wealthy than he's likely to be in the future. He is so special, and this really is the cherry on top. And like you said, this is a gold medal for Tom.
The three medalists are posing for photographs in front of the diving pool, in front of the diving boards, that 10-metre platform which brought Daly bronze tonight. Just watching him, Mark, walk around this aquatic centre and pausing every 2 or 3 steps and showing the bronze medal to the crowd, who have all stayed to cheer him and congratulate him and acclaim him, and every time he stops and holds up the bronze medal, there's a big cheer. And the other two now disappear down towards the mix zone, but not Tom Daly. The photographers want a bit more Daly action, draped in that Union flag with a bronze medal round his neck.
Well, Helen has texted to say my highlight is Tom Daly's bronze. His dad would be so proud. Elspeth in southeast London, my moment, you get it, has been coming home every week on my walk. The Olympics blaring out of every house, a nation sharing and coming together. Matt from Sutton says, got back from holiday, missing all the news to find out our nation is truly a very great Britain again. So proud, so very proud. Well, the Jamaicans have entertained us. Of course they had, led by Usain Bolt. They smashed the world record in winning the sprint relay. Here they are, the Jamaican Four with Phil Jones.
Well, here's a team that only deals in gold medals and world records. And Nesta, was a talk beforehand not only to win, but to win in a world record time?
Yeah, our aim, well, we got a lot of practice in this year, and over the years we haven't been getting a lot of practice, and this year we nailed it. So I was expecting a fast time, and 36.8 is really a fast time.
I know, Michael, you've been a part of this so many times before, but was it extra special tonight somehow? Fantastic support in this crowd for you.
I mean, it's almost like home. I mean, we have a huge following in the stands, a lot of Jamaican flags. So the US team ran a very fast race, so we knew they had been doing some extra practices to bring their best at us. But I think we're a bit above them right now. So, I mean, world record 38.4. I think we did a very fast time. Sadly, Asafa Powell isn't here. What if he was on the team then? Maybe something faster.
Well, you shattered the world record. Johan and Usain having a quick catch-up. Johan, give me your thoughts on the world record, the gold, in fact, your games as a whole, which has been tremendous.
It has been amazing. God has been good. My coach, Glenn Mills, we just want to congratulate the team. Nesta Carter, Michael Fritter, me, myself, and Usain Bolt were good. We hand over pretty well. And before I come off the mic, I have to say big up Burnell University, has supported us, and also Birmingham University. You guys are great.
Usain, your turn, sir. Congratulations. The double, triple. You've done it. Amazing. Sum it up for me.
It's always a beautiful thing to end on this note. Last year we did it at the World Championship. This year we did it again. So for me, it's just a wonderful feeling to end on a high note. It was a great championship. I'm happy. The team came out and they gave it their all. I knew it was possible. Wish we could have gone faster, but I guess we leave room for improvement.
Now, obviously the people here love you. The sport needs you. Do you see yourself going on for 4 more years and trying for a triple?
I've thought about it, but I think it's going to be very hard because Johan, he's just coming in the game and he's running pretty well, and I'm sure there are going to be a lot more young cats coming up to run. So for me, it's just wonderful. I'm just happy though. I'll take it a step at a time and see what happens in 4 years.
And the sad thing is we don't see you here too often. When are we likely to see you in Britain again? Maybe only when the tax laws change, maybe.
Exactly. As soon as that law changes, I'll be here all the time because I love coming here because I have so much Jamaican fans here and it's wonderful.
So you do the Mobot at the end. Can you give us one, maybe in honour of Mo?
I told him I was going to do it. Hold on. Yeah, boy.
Thanks.
But I'd like to say all the big up to Birmingham, the university. That's where we train. They really support us. We get everything possible. We got indoor facilities, the gym work and everything. So for me, it's an honor. Thank you guys for everything you've done for me, really. Thank you. Brunel, it's awesome also. The university has really done great for us. that's the spot where we come here every summer. That's where we stay, and it really shows a lot of love. We get a lot of support from everybody there. So thank you guys. It really means a lot.
And thank you for everything and all your time. We appreciate it.
No problem. Not a problem, guys. Everybody in England, I love you guys. Thanks for the support. I wish I could run here every day, but I can't. I'm sorry, but love you guys.
Johnny English, you're great.
I thought for a second he was going to say, I wish I could run for you. But he just actually said, I wish I could run here every day. Well, look, you live in Solihull, and we said this the other day, of course, Birmingham, the home of the Balti. They should have some sort of Balti now, shouldn't they?
Oh,
yeah,
you see?
Yeah, you can see where I'm coming with that one.
And I'm wondering if they're going to paint the rotunda, those that visit Birmingham, right next to New Street Station, that massive, looks like a post box actually. Maybe they should put some gold in it for him.
Yeah, exactly. I think Birmingham should claim a little bit of this, shouldn't they? Darren, I mean, to see Bolt has just we have no more adjectives.
Well,
it's been nice.
I tweeted him. I said, look, this is the greatest show on earth. This is before the athletics started. And I posed the question to him, are you the man to finish off the greatest show on earth? And I now say it was between him and Mo Farah, but Usain Bolt
What did he tweet back to you?
He didn't tweet back to me. I'm just Darren Campbell. He don't tweet back to me. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The reality is he clearly came here to show what he's about. When, in fairness, we did speak after he won the 200 metres, and I always felt he would come here and put on a show for the British public. He hasn't been able to compete here. He does genuinely love competing here, and it's shown as soon as the athletics started. The crowd have been knowledgeable. The people who have been inside this arena know their athletics and love their athletics, and they have cheered on the Brits and they've cheered on every single person who has performed out here, and they're a credit to the country. And as I say, they helped pull out the performances that we've seen here, because everybody has come into this arena and wanted to perform at their best.
Mike, any sportsman likes to perform where their performances are appreciated. And that's not just in athletics, that's what sportsmen tend to get in the UK.
Yes, and I think that was a great advertisement for a British sport and the way people watch sport in this country. And it's been the same right from the first morning. I mean, I think in a sense, we were lucky that the schedule had the heptathlon first. And so, pretty much the first British athlete in action was Jessica Ennis, who in effect set a world record with her 12.54 seconds in the 100 metres hurdles, which was the quickest ever run in a heptathlon, and that seemed to just set everything in momentum. And we've had so many fantastic events over the last 10 days or so, world records, and even down the order, the likes of Kirani James. I mean, it's going to be difficult to remember even David Rudisha now after what we've seen tonight, but just wonderful sport.
Steve, what are your reflections on it all?
I think it's a good point, Mike. Last Saturday, a week ago today, when Jess came across the line in that 800 metres, that was a real moment, and the best moment for me. And I must admit at the time, I thought, how are we going to keep this up? How that mood in the stadium here that evening, I just thought, how on earth? And that's a week ago, and somehow it's been done. And again tonight, the sport has a global superstar in Usain Bolt. Britain has its own superstars now in Mo Farah and Jessica Ennis. And of course other gold medalists and other gold medalists, I should say. But I think that's really important to drive the sport forward, get it on the back pages as it's been in the past. I think that's where we talked about legacy, and we need these superstars to kind of spearhead that campaign and take it into everything will be looking forward to Rio as this obviously comes to a close tomorrow evening. They're getting ready now already for the closing ceremony. It seems amazing, 17 days of action. It couldn't have gone better. It's been a pleasure to have been part of it and an absolute honour.
Alison?
Do our sport doesn't do this. Our sport, there's always somebody that misses out. And when you come here and people are saying how you're going to do in the track and field team, one of our strongest track and field teams coming here with so much opportunity and so much talent. And I just cannot believe what I've seen. I've constantly said to people when they've asked me, Mo Farah could, and Jessica Ennis is nailed on, but, it doesn't happen. It's just, I can't believe what I've seen. I really can't, Mark. Couldn't have happened to a nicer person than Mo Farah. I've known him since he was 15, and to see this guy just emerge into this legend of our sport. You know, Haile Gebrselassie couldn't even do the double he's done. Very special.
And I thought when I was in Sydney with the crowds there and the sport that we saw there over 10 days that I wouldn't see anything like it again. But this is better than that for so many reasons. Home success is so important to the showpiece sport at the Olympic Games, and the success of the athletics here has made London 2012 unforgettable.
Thank you all very, very much for all your contributions, your insight, your expertise, your humour, your teasing. It's been a lot of fun, and I think, you know, our ambition obviously was to shine a light on a lot of the events that people don't follow necessarily all the time, and I think you've done that brilliantly, so thank you very much. I think it's really appropriate, though, that we end actually by hearing from Tom Daley. After his bronze medal, after everything that's happened to him, a bronze medal in the Aquatic Centre, here he is with Jill Douglas.
Tom, congratulations. That was very special indeed. And from your reaction, the smiles, leaping in the pool with your teammates, I don't think I need to ask what this Olympic medal means to you.
Honestly, this medal means so much to me. It's unbelievable. After it's been the toughest year of my life, losing my dad, and it was a shame he wasn't here to see that today, because I know that he would have been proud of me for what I've done. And to go into the prelim yesterday and have a shaky start and just scrape it through to the semi-final, and to come back the next day and not lose the confidence from it, I'm just literally so happy, and I really wish my dad was here to see that.
The whole crowd here were on their feet. Obviously your mother was here, the family. I think the whole nation feels as though they've seen you grow up over the last few years, and I think tonight you really came of age.
Yeah, definitely, and it's one of those things that I've just waited so long to compete in front of a home crowd, and I wanted it to go the way I wanted it to. And today I went out there, I gave it my best shot, I did absolutely everything, and with a shaky start having to do a redive because of all the flash photography, that's one downside to the home crowd thing, but honestly I'm just so happy, and I just can't wait to go and see my family and just have a massive bundle. Honestly, it's going to be great.
You looked as cool as a cucumber before that last dive, and knowing what you had to deliver, how did you manage to maintain that focus?
Well, to be honest, I was very nervous. I just went in with the mentality of, you know, just do or die, as they say. You just go in there, giving it my best. Like, I just put everything into it, because knowing that I was in first place going into the last round, and I didn't have the degree of difficulty in the last round to kind of match these guys, so I knew I had to do a good dive, and to have come away with 9s, I knew I had a medal, and that was solid. And for me, that was the main aim here, was to get a medal. And to see Alexei happy, the performance director, after all the stuff that he was at the beginning of the year, he was telling me I was fat. I've lost 7.5 kilos. I've done so many changes, and everything now has made it worth it, and now I can't wait to go and eat what I like.
Well, I'm going to let you go and eat what you like and celebrate with your family, but not until you've shown everybody at home, straight down the line. Show them your medal.
My Olympic bronze medalist. Can't believe it, honestly. Great.
Thanks, Tom. Go and enjoy it. Thank you very much.
And there he does, shows the medal to everybody at the Aquatic Centre. Great achievement by Tom Daley, really is. One more day to go, then all the boxing tomorrow. Mike will be on marathon duty as well. As I say, the boxing really taking centre stage with Lennox Lewis and Steve Bunsen, Darren Fletcher down there at the Excel. And we will be back here tomorrow night, of course, to bring you the closing ceremony. I'll be here with Colin Patson and Gordon Farker and John Murray to round off an utterly memorable Olympic Games. So all that to come tomorrow. And now here's Tony Livesey for party number, 18 in a row?
18, yep, 19 to come tomorrow night, Mark. I'll be outside with the fans as you're watching the closing ceremony tomorrow night, so that'll be good. Well done on tonight. Thank you very much, Mark. Another world-class presentation.